We're starting to get into a football Friday here, are we not? It's got that feel to it, right? It's got that feel to it. But as we always do, with the tradition of the program, big sills. What a big night last night. What an absolute big night last night at Lincoln Financial. I'm not going to quite say it was 50,000 fans, but what I will say it felt like 50,000 fans last night. That's exactly what you're looking at when you're talking about a fan base. You know, Xander probably understands it as well as anybody. When you go to an Alabama red and white game, you got 90,000 fans that are usually rolling around at Bryant-Denny Stadium for those spring games. You could go to any place in the Southeastern Conference, and that's what it felt like. Probably last night was kind of like a college atmosphere. I would say that the NFL's Eagles and the Buffalo Bills, the Steelers, the Packers, places like that are places that have that small college feel when it comes to their fan base and the passion that the college fans have for those programs. No, those Southeastern Conference programs are legendary. They're just legendary for their fans because pretty much that's all you have there. But the one thing that you say about an Eagle fan, and the one thing that you say about the Philadelphia Eagles is this. One thing I've learned in 3 years, that's the civic pride team. As much as you like your Phillies, your Sixers, you used to like the Flyers, maybe you get back to that. The civic pride team in that city is the Philadelphia Eagles. Make no mistake about it. Okay? Just absolutely make no mistake about it. And it was pretty cool last night, man. I mean, Friday night football under the lights at Lincoln Financial, and I really thought it was awesome last night. How about some of the players responding too? Let me get to some of them. I thought it was great that they were thanking the fans and they were telling, the fans how much they appreciated being out there. So many of the guys commented on it. And again, that's the kind of stuff you talk about when you've got a tremendous fan base like they do. I mean, Darius Slay made a comment talking about how cool it was that the fans show up here. Here's Slay. Y'all showed out tonight. Appreciate y'all. By far the best city to play for. CJ. Now, we don't know if this is really legit here. All Philly, thank you. Absolutely great. Let's rip the Band-Aid off now and talk about Dean. Hang on there, Jameson. We're going to get to that. Let's get to a little bit of the good. By the way, guys, please do me a favor and hit the like button here. Lane Johnson even last night. Hey, best thing back at the link. Y'all showed up last night. Very cool. And it was. It was absolutely very cool. Okay, very cool stuff last night. And we're going to get into the takeaways here. I had a lot of people out there, and then I talked to some of the coaches, and I talked to some of the folks out there that were there at Lincoln Financial, and we're going to give you our takeaway. I'm hoping we're going to get Xander on a little bit at 3:30. Then we're also going to get the legendary Philly Godfather. That'll be at 5:30 Eastern time. So we appreciate it. By the way, once again, Jameson, going to get to it, I promise. We'll get to the ripping of the Band-Aid off of Nakobe Dean here in a minute. A lot of things to take away. Sirianni also spoke. God, there was a ton last night. Look at this, man. We are just absolutely, there's just a ton of stuff to get to on what these guys did last night. And I think we start here. Let's do it. About a 2-hour and 7-minute practice last night. Has to be one of the longest practices that Nick Sirianni has had in the last 3 years. Great. You put a lot of work in last night. By the way, this is going to be good and bad. Offense was sensational last night. Sensational. Offense was great. Dean sucks. Big Flex warned y'all. You know what, Flexing? I've been telling you for 3 years. Guy's been fighting me on it. Oh, he's a molecular engineer. He's one of the smartest guys. I'm like, he's a schwimp. I'll get to him. Hang in there. Goddard was awesome. I mean, you can tell they want to get him involved. How about Kenny Gainwell in a contract year? He ripped a new one on Nakobe Dean all night last night. He was sensational. Runs, catching the football. Look, I'm not a Kenny Gainwell guy, but I tell you this, guy steps his game up. This is what you have to do. By the way, many of you, if that guy goes out there and gets you 700 yards this year and gets you 7 touchdowns in a second team role to Saquon Barkley, and he puts those kind of numbers up, you're going to flip-flop on him. That Flexen, you could say all you want. He's shown up this year to camp. I'm not a Gainwell guy. I am not a Kenny Gainwell guy. But I'll tell you what, so far in camp, it wasn't just last night. Jalen Hurts said this guy was insane. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, guys. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button here. Okay? LJ is saying something that I hate. I concede. This fat ass was right about Dean. That sucks. Unlike LJ, he thinks I'm trying to be right when it comes to Dean. There's no victory laps when a guy doesn't pan out. That's bad for the team. Okay? So, LJ, I'm not wishing for Dean to suck. That's not good. I do not hope for his failure. Look, you guys want to dive on him first. I'm going to give you the overall synopsis of it. Kenny Gainwell was a star last night. He could have got a game ball. By the way, that situation last night, those were quality reps. I like that too. I didn't know that, LJ, that Gainwell was a wide receiver in college. He sure looked it last night. Nice run too. Caught some passes. The linebackers could not cover those running backs last night. And by the way, well, here, I don't want to get ahead of myself. You guys are jumping the gun. What I don't like compared to what the Lions do, the Lions go ones versus ones. The Eagles go ones versus twos. I don't like that. Okay? I don't. I like ones versus ones. Okay? Look at Prince. Research says, I don't give a shit about Kenny Gainwell. But Kenny Gainwell's starting to maybe make me want to take a look at him. I don't research losers. Okay? I don't. Or people that are non-factors. I don't research people like that. I don't care because no one else cares. I research people that are good. Not just guys holding cups of water. You do the research on the bums. I'll do the research on the people that matter. Fair? Let's go. Defense was absolutely every single thing that I've been telling you for 6 months last night. Awful. You do not have a Super Bowl defense as of August 2nd. I've been telling you since day one. And they didn't even have Tyler Steen and Landon Dickerson in the ball game, and they were steamrolling you. It was an absolute train wreck for the defense last night. Train wreck. Fly Eagle Fanatic. Awesome, man. Must have been a great night for you. Defense, like I've been saying, put the pads on. Let's see who they are. Terrible. Okay? Terrible. Micaiah Becton is a road grader. He's a road grader. And I completely believe that he's starting to separate himself with Tyler Steen being out as the right guard. 6'6", 6'6", 6'3", 6'6", 6'8". Across the front line, you're going to need a B-52 to move these guys from city to city when they have to go play in other towns. You're going to have to get one of those load carriers that the military has when they take tanks and trucks and shit, because you're going to need some big ass airplanes to carry these guys around. That's just a starting 5. Pretty crazy. Terrible last night. And I see Sills, they weren't able to tackle. Getting blown off the ball, not being able to cover, has nothing to do with tackling. They were a fucking road wreck last night. Stop making excuses for failure. Stop it. Could they have a good night Tuesday night? Sure. But talk about reality today. Your linebacking core fucking blows. Stop with the excuses. My God, it's what got you in an issue last year when you were telling me we're 10-1. And I'm telling you, you suck. Stop it. Dean will be okay. No, he won't. Relax. Tell the truth. Dean has more holes in his game. Stop with the excuses. Becton is a good-looking prospect. AJ and Devontae ate the shit out of your secondary, who was completely unprepared to be in some type of game situation last night. They're running into one another. Hurts was great. We'll give you some of the takeaways with Jalen here in a second, and we'll isolate on him in a minute. Bryce Huff almost had a pick. Kind of was seen. Shit, the kid, Jalix Hunt, flashed more last night. This kid, I'm telling you, Bryce Huff, you're going to be severely disappointed. I actually heard John McMullen on Birds 365 say that Kobe Dean was going to be the best linebacker on the Eagles. I mean, watching too much Georgia tape. Your linebackers, all of them, Devin White, Bond, Kobe, they are terrible. You have the worst linebacking core in pro football. And he knows it, Howie Roseman. He knows it. Dude, wait till you get into a quality game with a quality quarterback. White was terrible last night in coverage. He was terrible. And you didn't even have Steen and Dickerson, and the front were getting blown off the ball. You may not have been tackling, but getting knocked on your ass, that's point of contact stuff. Listen to what M. Reyes says. Our defense is a work in progress. That's not a championship Super Bowl team then. If you got any part of your team that has a unit next to it and you're calling yourself a Super Bowl contender, you can fucking save that. Well, our defense, hey, it's one thing to say our ends are a work in progress, or our linebackers are a work in progress, or our young guys are a work in progress. when you're blanketing the entire unit, that's not quality football. A complete excuse factory going on in here right now with some of these folks. Folks, this is a show not about being right. I want you to stop with that notion that you think that I come on the air wanting to be right every single fucking day. That's not what this is. I'm telling you what folks that were there last night that are on the coaching staff and people we know that are telling me this, and even your coordinator saying this. Again, Hurts was accurate last night, especially in the opening drive. Vic Fangio must have a heart attack right now. Somebody better check on him and see if he's okay. You do not have a Super Bowl defense. You don't even have a top 25 defense yet. LBs can't stop the run and they can't cover. What the fuck are you being paid for? As we said, Gainwell just looks sensational. D-line was surrendering gaps last night and gap control, according to Clint Hurt. What does that mean? Offensive line had their way. Did anything they want, and they had their second team O-line in, or their second team guards in. Hey, for your first action, thank God it's preseason and not Green Bay. And they're still going to try to tote out that linebacking core. And John McMullen today on Birds 365 said it perfectly. What's the other option? Getting killed. Will Howie make a move at the linebacking position and get some depth in the defensive tackle position? Probably not until after the first exhibition game. That's when you'll start to see some movement. Because then you'll start to see some guys being released. Sills, if this defense could just be average, Professor, I think that's all they're praying. Right. They'd be a Super Bowl team. Right. If you're in, hey, Professor, if they're in the middle of the NFL around 15 or 16, yeah, you're going to be in there. You're going to totally be in there. Yes. Still, nothing has changed. We do not have the personnel to run Vic's scheme. Correct. The poor play last night was more just the lag that comes with the new scheme. Okay? But, Bob, isn't that what I've been saying the whole time? I don't think you have the people to play it. Bob, isn't that what I've been saying? Haven't I been saying that? Francis asked the question here. Dan Sileo, why didn't Howie do anything to help out the linebackers? Is that malpractice? Dude, he's not even looking to be average there. You got shitty contracts. Like McMullen's right on this one. Look at the money you spend. You don't care. That's why it's imperative that they have Dean make it. He's a third-round pick. He's the highest quality amount of asset that they've spent in the last 3 years at the linebacking core. By the way, Howie gets an F for allowing TJ Edwards go. F. And we'll see if he gets an F for allowing Hassan Reddick go and replacing him with Huff. Remember something. His forte is not defense. He has no feel for the personnel on the defensive side of the football. None. Zero. Zero. It's a work in progress. Eli Ricks got a pick for the first time The defense made a play in 6 games or 6 days. Jalix Hunt. Okay. Good. Bryce Huff. Not so good. Or Nolan Smith. Put those guys on a milk carton. Milton Williams showed up. Put some pressures last night. Not a shocker. Ton of communication mistakes last night in the secondary. The Philadelphia Eagle offense toyed with that secondary because they don't know what they're doing yet. That was quite a lesson last night in showing you the experienced unit and the non-experienced unit. You can have all the talent you want on one side of the ball, but the one thing that the Eagles have on that offensive side is exceptional, skilled set players with massive knowledge of the game of football. Hey, how many people, you know this better than anybody. You can have all kinds of great skill set. You can be with some of the greatest athletes on the planet, but if you don't have knowledge of the game, it's useless. Andrew asks a good question here. Sills, how you doing? You think it will come together in time? Smart question, Andrew. And here, that's why the record's not relevant this year. The record is not relevant. If you're a 9 or 10 or 11 win team by the time you get to September, but you're playing like a 14, let's do this. I don't want to do this, and I'm not going to do it a lot. When you were in December and that football team won 11 games, you were more like a 6-win team, not an 11-win team, right? You looked like a 6-win team. Kansas City looked like a 9-win team in October. They looked like a 14-win team in December. This is all about how you're playing, which means, are you getting better as the months go on? So, will it come together? I think it's got a lot to do with the offense's output. Sustained drives, winning time of possession, giving the offense a chance to have that apple go from a green apple to a red apple. You have a non-mature defense right now. Think of it as an apple on a tree. Okay? And it's green. Let me get to the Kobe here. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I do get it because I know the business aspect of it. I'm just here to hear you go off on Dean. And I waited because I wanted to give you, hey, by the way, let me put a bow tie on it. Okay? Let me put a bow tie on this. Offense, after all the issues they had in OTAs and minicamp, Jalen Hurts has done his homework. And he's worked with his wideouts and his tight end. And he's done a very good job. He has gone to, he went to school. Jalen Hurts did his job. All the struggles he had, how bad it looked. It's not just about last night. Last night is kind of like putting the candle on top of the cake and putting it on top of the birthday cake, lighting it and blowing out and having a great wish of winning a Super Bowl. He's done his work. And if he continues this process, that's something to keep an eye on. Now, once again, for Nakobe Dean, they know in their heart he's not good enough. Do you see how many times he got turned around and by running backs? And what do you think McCaffrey would do to that guy? Kenny Gainwell's owning him. Derrick Henry will blow him up. When that guy runs into Derrick Henry, he better have bricks in his pocket. He might kill him. Devin White was no better. If I'm Vic Fangio, that was as ugly. And you know what's frustrating about that is that you come away with 5 practices and you put that on tape. You got to remember something. Teams right now, when it comes to camps right now, they're evaluating everybody's personnel. Because as soon as somebody's cut, they got a big old board of everybody's personnel and all 90 guys of 32 football teams. Because they're waiting for that one cut to go. I really liked him when we were evaluating him in the draft 2 years ago. They just cut him. Did you see that the Giants just picked up the Eagles' defensive back that just got cut? Why do you think they did that? Let me ask you this. Sometimes it's strategic. Guys, why would you think the New York Giants picked up a Philadelphia Eagle defensive back? Why do you think? Why do you think they picked? Why do you think they picked him up? Hurts read the defense, Sills. No. Kellen Moore is putting him in a position to be able to see the defense better. There you go. Chips and birds. Francis, Intel. What are they doing? They're not keeping him. What are they doing? What kind of how's the defense coming along? What are they practicing? They're going to pump him for info. How's this guy look? Please hit the like button. Here's Jalen Hurts. Oh, wait. Let me finish up here on Nakobe. You know, I really haven't really said much about him this camp. Today I am again. Not changing my stance. He was too small coming out of college. He was injured coming out of college. Every time he was in a football game, he had false steps. Kenny Gainwell ran circles around him last night. Made him look like not a rookie, but a UDFA signed linebacker off the street or out of the UFL. Could Dean play in the UFL? I don't know. Man, is he terrible. I feel more comfortable with Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I'm sure he knows what to do. He may not be the fastest guy on the planet, but I guarantee you he doesn't have those crazy-ass false steps that he has. You see something I'm already getting a sense of with Dean? He got away with it with his athleticism, and who doesn't get away with it when you got Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter in front of you? And by the way, one of the reasons why that linebacking core looked so terrible last night, because the D-line got blown off the ball. I feel more comfortable Jeremiah Trotter out there. And I think he's slow. I don't get it. Again, I should stop saying that because I do. He's a third rounder. Howie drafted him. A year ago, Howie had to cut a third-round pick that he drafted. He is notoriously awful at identifying talent at the linebacker position. You want to know why? You had a guy in the building that gave you 160 tackles. You thought you could do better. Proves out Howie hasn't replaced him. Of all the players off that 22 team that have left, the number one guy you didn't replace was him. And he was the cheapest. And you're so arrogant that you think you know better. He kept the lesser player because he was picked in the third round by his analytics weirdos. That's not football. That's not playing the best guy. That's playing the political guy. That's why you're a revolving door every year on that side of the ball. Jeff Kerr, I told you, made a great comment a couple months ago. It's an unsustainable, successful tool and way of doing business by retooling your defense every 2 years. Shit. People will go like this. Well, Sills, it's only 1 week. Well, you don't have a lot of time to practice in today's NFL. You got 36 days or 35 days until kickoff. You got 4 weeks to kickoff. You actually think you're turning it around before the Green Bay game where you're going to have guys on the same page on defense? You're out of your mind. Last year, we had a historical defense in 22. I don't think historical is the 16th ranked run defense. It's not historical. Historical is what Gang Green was. Number one in total defense, number one in stopping the run, and number one in pass defense. That is a defense that's historical. Or the 85 Bears. Historical defenses cap it off by winning a Super Bowl, too. Is there any good linebackers available? No. You had to go get Patrick Queen. But you didn't want to pay. Get this. Howie took a guy in Bryce Huff. That's a complete gamble and projection. Gave that guy the same amount of money that the Steelers gave Patrick Queen. Who would you rather fucking have? Xavier Howard? Or Xavier McKinney in Green Bay, that safety up there at 17.5? Or would you rather have Patrick Queen on a 3-year deal at $18 million? Pick one of those two. Instead, you gave the money to Huff. There lies the difference. It's paycheck. They're so concerned in Philly on spending the money on the offense, they completely, without a doubt, put the defense in a second city room. The defense on Philadelphia, second class on how they look at them when it comes to the pay structure and the importance and how they think to win. They think you have to have offense. I think you have to have balance to win Super Bowls. I think you have to have balance. Guys, please hit the like button. Andres goes like this. It's an offensive league, Sills. Well, I'll tell you one thing's for sure. The reason that the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year was not just because of the great quarterback that they have in number 15. It's also the fact that that defense for the first 7-8 weeks of the season carried the Chiefs. Carried the Chiefs. Sills, this failed test should drive Howie to make a huge move at DL. I know edge is the need, but we need another monster inside. Kid in Tennessee we've been talking about. Okay? And it's a great take because here's why. If you fix up your two DTs in the middle by getting another big body in the middle there, that will help also your linebacker play. When your defensive tackle and Micaiah Becton is putting like Lincoln Tunnel road holes out there on your defensive line, your linebackers have no chance of success. You know the only thing that the running back is going to hit his head on next? It's the goalpost. I would be offended by that performance last night if I played defense for the Eagles. I couldn't wait for practice the next day. I couldn't wait for practice. You got a lot of work ahead of you guys. Holy shit. I don't even want to go. I'm going to go to Sirianni here in a minute, but I got to get to Hurts. So you talking about Jeffrey Simmons? Does he want out? Andrew, it's not the fact that he wants out. It's the fact that Tennessee's looking for a quarterback next year. Will Levis ain't it. Will Levis ain't it. And you're going to need draft picks to draft the QB next year. Seals, who should we target for a trade at linebacker? Won't be anybody in the NFC. And if it is, they're going to hold you to a king's ransom. You got to find somebody in the AFC that would do some business with you. Then you got to figure out if somebody wants to let loose of somebody. They know you're desperate. Dude, all you got to do is put the tape on. Remember something. When you're talking about playing right now, let me tell you the importance of something like last night. There's 90 football players that are on that field last night. What's the most significant thing about it? 53 guys stay, and the rest of them, they're auditioning for 31 other teams. You can't put bad tape. You can't put bad tape up. So you've got to be ready to roll every opportunity you're on film. Eye in the sky. Hey, the eye in the sky don't lie. This is who you are. Let me get to Jalen Hurts here. Jalen's had a really good camp. As I said, he's done his homework. He's working to be the best player he can possibly be, and Kellen Moore and him are linking up and syncing up. Few drop passes, it's okay. But he was on target last night. Nice 40-yarder down the field in an 11-11. Once again, I hate to say this about Kenny Gainwell, but he's having a great camp. Just having a great camp. They've done their work. Quarterback is doing his work. Last night was on display. Goddard last night, it was an emphasis to make sure that Dallas Goedert, who looks in shape and looks maybe even 15 pounds lighter, is going to be an integral part of what they want to do, especially across the middle of the field. His homework, and I'll say this to you about Jalen. The homework that he did, the studying that he did coming off of those awful OTAs and minicamp, and then turning it around to where he's been absolutely great. That could have been the best day of the week so far for Hurts was last night. If you get that kind of play out of him for the remainder of the camp and going into the first half of the season, it could be some type of new version of 22. Let me tell you this, and I'll say it one more time to you. When you're a quarterback like that, and you're a quarterback in this league, players look to how you are performing no matter what it is. 11 on 11, 7 on 7, going and getting water, getting ice cream cones, getting anything. They want to know how you look, how you act, how you're handling the football team. And you can see that there's a step in the kids. Maybe because he's healthier. Maybe I'll relent a little bit on what you guys said about his health. Sills, time to give up on Dean? I would say this. Time to demote Dean. This is the stages of grief for a player. Organization finds out who you are. Then the organization has to realize, can he be saved? Then the organization says, is there a role? Then the fourth step is you're on the waiver wire. And I would say this, they're at the second step because they have a hard time coming to grips with players that they fail on. They failed on him. Now, it's a third-round pick. Is that a premium pick? Yes. Is it a devastating pick? No. The Nolan Smith pick will be more detrimental to the team at 30 than what Nakobe is. By the way, the Tyler Steen pick, I don't know. Where is this guy? One of the things we kept saying, is he durable and is he reliable and is he tough? I've seen none of that. Tell you what, if you're defense and Vic Fangio's talking to you, he's got to be in your ass right now. He has got to be in your ass, to say the least. Please hit the like button. So Sirianni spoke last night. Made a point that they're getting ready for next week, which means Ravens week. Do you believe in Fangio's scheme for defense? Eagles ripped through Fangio last season. One thing I'll say to you, Emmanuel, schemes don't win defenses. Jimmy's and Joe's do. You don't have the people. You don't have the people yet. You think you, I'm not saying you do, Emmanuel, but you don't have talented people there. Or you don't have seasoned people on that side of the ball yet. This has got nothing to do with schemes. It's got nothing to do with schemes. This is players. This is Howie. Seals, what do you think practice for the defense looks like after last night? A lot of changing in personnel, I would say, with Vic, that he's going to start looking at different combinations. But see, here's the thing. Vic Fangio's trying to look at combinations with the same deck of cards. And you're going to have the same result because it's the same deck of cards. That's the difference in the NFL versus college football. You're a program like Alabama, you've got 3 decks in one. You're going to be able to go deep into your recruiting and 5-star kids, and you're going to find a first rounder somewhere. And you're going to be able to develop that. In the NFL, rosters aren't like that. Fangio's making them run hills all day. I'm sure the weirdo NFLPA probably has a moratorium on that too. Hills, should Howie Roseman call the Browns for Jock? But Kyle, when you do something like that, I want a second rounder. Howie's not doing that. For a linebacker, look at what he's done. Look at his track record. Why didn't he draft a linebacker high, like the kid from A&M or NC State? Why didn't he go get one of them guys? Cooper DeJean, nice player. But why didn't you get the kid from A&M? Do you know both Wilson and the kid from A&M are going to be starting for Green Bay and the Steelers? Why didn't you draft one of them guys? These people saying it's only been a couple of weeks are same people who said it only week 6. Don't be content with mediocrity. I love that take. Had a bad day. We all preach this, but My young nephew died drinking and driving. People die for a reason, I guess. Sorry to hear that, Philly D. Why didn't you get Edrin Cooper? Why don't you bring Edrin Cooper's going to start this year? Howie's going to see Edrin Cooper and regret taking Cooper DeJean. And not that watch this too. Senor, the need was more linebacker. Not that Cooper DeJean's going to be a bad player. I don't think you're talking shit on him because I'm not either. But the need was LB. Howie can't draft Sills. We know this. No, Howie can't draft defensive players. It's only taken him 30 years to get a corner that looks decent. And get this. You had the money to still go out and try to make a trade. You still had $27.7 million on you under the cap. What are you saving money for? What is this? Bowling for dollars? AJ was at the link last night. Dean got cooked. Hey, let me ask you this, AJ. Dean got cooked last night? If Dean was a catfish, he'd be down on the bayou right now and someone would be having him with gumbo. I mean, they'd be cooking that guy over some gumbo down on the bayou. Yes, the talent evaluation on defense needs to be addressed. Sam says, come on, Sills. Any dope can draft a good player in the first round. After that, Howie sucks. You know what? Here, let me, and once again, I keep hearing people tell me how great these, but where's Steen? How good is he? I don't know. This defense has me terrified. Dean got his ankles broken by, think about what Roland just said. Thanks for the super chat, brother. He got cooked by a guy who's a third tier running back. I heard John McMullen going, this guy's going to be the best. Hey, being the best linebacker on the shittiest unit in the league? Okay, I guess. I guess. Sills, would you trade Goddard as a starting for an MLB? No way. No way. No way. He'd have to be Greenlaw for me to trade Dallas Goedert or somebody like that. I'm not just trading Dallas Goedert for a dude. Dude, remember something, man. The dance partner's got a match. Hey, let me trade. I love some people. They go, hey, let's trade Bradbury for like, what was the guy? Jesse Bates when he was in Cincinnati. I'm like, no, that's not the dance partner you're looking for. It's got to be compatible for that kind of shit to work, you know? Damn, why's that guy with that ugly chick? Or why's that great-looking woman with that ugly dude? You know? You're always like, that don't look right. That's what those trades have to look like. That's a good trade. Offset one another. Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford. That's a good-looking deal now. The Lions got what they wanted, rebuilding their unit and their football program, and the Rams got their Super Bowl. That's a spectacular trade. Those are trades you go, wow, both got the right deal. Okay? I'm awake or you. Yo, Sills, please let John on. Talk about fireworks. I'll cook you. Cook me how? What? That Nakobe Dean blows and he's going to try to what? Tell me how good he is? Name me one moment in his career in Philly that you went, oh, wow. Name me one moment. One moment. Give me a moment. And I'll go, you're right. He played great in this game. Name me one. One. One moment. Oh, yeah, of course. In general. And just like I've been telling you, everyone's been sitting here telling you how great those guys are on defense. They get into a game type situation last night and they got their faces kicked in. No, you guys are ready. That's right. I'm awake. Are you? Okay. One arm tackle on Derrick Henry. Hey, Bald Eagle, you do a one arm tackle on Derrick Henry, he'll break your arm off. Where are we in the like list? Please hit the likes. Sills, what is the use of a high price corner like Slay on this defense? Even with him, and they are bottom of the barrel. Wouldn't letting the kids get experience make more sense in team building? Yes, but you got to compromise some else. The Giants are trying their best to be the Eagles. They signed Boston Scott, Jack Stoll, and Mario Goodrich. Well, those guys all sound like quality players. Boston Scott, by the way, was a Doug Peterson guy. Jack Stoll was coached by Jeff Stoutland. Okay. Bruce goes, the Eagles called me to go play linebacker. That would not shock me. I wouldn't be shocked if they called Seth Joyner. Jacoby Dean literally did it. Dean won't make it to week 2. Yeah, he will. Howie will make sure of it. Jack Stoll's a quality player. Define what a quality player is when you're talking about a guy that's a backup player and could be a swing ball player for you and help you when it comes to your depth. Everyone's got a role there, Slagger. Not everybody's A.J. Brown, okay? When you're on a 53-man roster, everyone has a role. If you're a backup player and you can help at guard, center, or tackle, that's a role. I mean, Barrett Brooks was a role player the back end of his career. Guard, tackle, swing offensive tackles, that's a role. That's a quality player. Yes. Not everybody's defined in one sandbox, my friend. Okay? When you understand that, you'll understand how to build a roster. What up, Master Chief? Look at this. Stoll was cheeks. Okay. You'll never understand what I'm talking about if you don't understand, if you don't have good people to go in and know what they're freaking doing. What a quality football player is. Who was that Swiss Army knife guy that I called last year that you had that played tackle for you? Who was that guy that you guys had last year that played offensive tackle, that anytime you guys had some issues, I think he even got in the game for Lane last year. Who was that one dude you have? You ended up losing him. Yeah, Jack Driscoll. Thank you very much, Carmine. So do you think Jack Driscoll's not a quality player? When you can have a frontline guy go out and you can slug him in and not at least know he knows where to line up? At least he knows how to move his feet. He can play guard for you. He can play left guard, left tackle. Those are quality players. Seals, do you know how much I enjoyed watching Gangrene? That's why I'm so frustrated looking at this slop. Sam, don't and do not do that to yourself. Okay? Do not do that to yourself because you'll never love defense ever again. And I'm not sure anybody will ever love defense ever again in the NFL because of the way that the rule changes are. Did you see that thing last night on the kickoff at the kickoff Hall of Fame game? I don't know what they were doing. There was like 8 kickoffs and one kick through the end zone or touchback, and I don't know, 130-yard run. I was so confused. I didn't even know what the hell I was looking at last night. I didn't know what I was looking at. What linebacker would you trade for, Sills? It's August 2nd. You're 35 days to game day. What do you mean, what are you trading for? What do you think you're trading for, a starter? You better go to a football team that doesn't think they have any hope and see if they got somebody on that team. You know, go to Carolina. You got to go to those teams. Carolina. Arizona's not going to do any work with you. They may. You got to go to those type of teams. Tennessee. You think frontline teams in the NFC are going to go, yeah, here's a linebacker for the Eagles to get better. Why would I do that? If I was a general manager in the NFC right now, do you think I would make a trade with the Philadelphia Eagles? I would never. I make trades with teams that are poor. Why? Because in next year's draft, you're still going to be poor. And a third-round pick, you want to trade a third-round pick? Get this. Here's the difference why you don't trade with Philly. Philly's going to be picking somewhere between what? 25 and 32? Okay, somewhere down there. But if I trade with New England, I could be trading between 1 and 5. It's a quality third-round pick versus a low-end quality third-round pick. If I make a trade with New England, my picks are going to be in the top 5 picks of every round. I'm going to make deals with them. I'm not making a deal with a team like the Rams, who are going to be down there between 25 and 32 also. So most teams with quality linebackers are good, are going to be picking down there. They're not going to make deals with you to get you better and give you more of a quality pick. Forget that. Not happening. I don't get it. If the NFL wants more kickoff returns, just move the touchback back to the 20. Ben, no shit. They overcooked the game there. I completely agree with that, Ben. But, Ben, they're afraid of hits and contact and CTE on that. Okay? Well, the offense will just have to carry it the whole season then. That's not true, Fly Eagle. You've got to give your defense a chance to mature and get better like Kansas City did. If you want to take a page out of what Brett Veach and Andy Reid did, okay, you've got to look at how they developed in the last 2 years that young defense. Man, when they played you guys, man, they were not really super ready, but as the end of that season got and they got into the playoffs and the Super Bowl, they were getting better. Now they had a superstar and have a superstar coordinator. Okay? They have Steve Spagnuolo there. I'm awake or you goes, we're not Kansas City. That's not what I'm saying. You have to do what they did. They played their younger players. They allowed them to have mistakes. They weren't playing their best football, but as they got closer to the season, they got better. This is not about winning September. Jesus criminy. Every time somebody goes, we're not Kansas City, it's a copycat league, dude, and how you get better. There's a formula on how you get better. The Eagles are not a good defense and won't be a good defense in September. Put that in your minds. You're not going to be good. You're hoping to be average. Teams now have to let opponents know when offside kicks are coming. League needs to stop changing rules. No doubt, man. You're overcooking this shit. They're overcooking it. Offense was so good, making defense look poor. It's well, you're paying them. They better. Spagnuolo's the best in the business. They have to gel as a season goes on, hopefully. Hey, Fly Eagle, here's something else that you have to remember that Spagnuolo has is patience and belief in what he's doing. And I believe Vic does too. Here's M. Reyes. Let's put M. Reyes up here in the headlights. Jacoby at 13 sacks. Green Wave will dominate offenses once again. Love guys like M. Reyes. The utmost optimist. How about we do this? I pray Nakobe Dean plays in 13 games. 13 sacks. I hope the guy plays in 13 ball games. I hope he has 13 tackles. So you're admitting they could be good in December. You're admitting they could be good in December. Emrace or whomever, who did that? Those are the guys that post 10-1. I don't care about 10-1. How you playing in December? All matters. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. That's it. You guys were an 11-win team, played like a 5-win team in December. Is that fair? So, do I think they could be better? I told you that. That's what you're hoping for. What if they fed Bradbury 24/7 and maybe could? Yeah, my friend. And Ben, Ben, not really goofing on you, but Ben thinks that this is junior football league, or like this is Red Grange football, or Chuck Bednarik Junior Football League. Hey man, maybe if we beefed him up and gave him some cheesesteaks, this dude here, man, we could play him at middle linebacker, and he could be like, I don't know, a really big beefy guy like Levon Kirkland. We'll just put him in there. I know you are, Ben. So am I. They should have signed TJ Edwards. They messed up. Are you hey, Rod? We don't think that. There's two moves that will tell you exactly who your boy Sirianni is. I got to finish Sirianni up here. There's two things. You know what it is? The bringing back of Sirianni, and because that makes Jeffrey Lurie look right, and keeping Dean, because you can't make yourself look wrong that you got rid of Edwards. Hey, by the way, according to Pro Football Focus, who's the team that's ranked as the best linebacking core in the NFL? Who's that? And they got rid of a guy. Who's that team that now has the best linebacking core? The Pro Football Focus is the Bible or anything, but who's that team that's got the best linebacking core now in the league? Who is that? And who's the kingpin of that? Oh, yeah, the Bears. Oh, my God. The Eagles made the Bears have the best linebacking core by letting loose the guy they didn't want to offer. Got to give it to the Bears, though, man. They ended up letting Roquan Smith go. And they signed TJ, and TJ made them the best linebacking core in the league. How you doing? Stupid Howie gave a top linebacker to the Bears. Totally. Hey, Senor, where are we in the like list, my friend? I want to see where we are right now as we got through the first hour here. Hopefully, we're going to be able to catch up with Xander at 3:30. Had a chance to talk with John McMullen last night, and they did a special Birds 365. So, hey, Joe, behind the scenes, let me know if we're going to be able to talk to Xander at 3:30 because I'd like to. 96, really good, guys. Please hit the like button for us. I appreciate it. How we didn't bring back TJ or Kaiser, who had 120 tackles. He didn't draft Edwin Cooper and Peyton Wilson, but kept Dean. Yeah. Okay. If defense wins championship sales, then why haven't the Bears made the playoffs in 10 years? Andreas, balance wins you Super Bowls. Not one side of the ball. Hey, what happened to your football team last year? You guys had the 8th-ranked offense in the league. Everyone got pay raises last year. And you guys shit the bed. Offenses don't win either. You had the most expensive. See if John can. That would be great, Xander. Tell him it'd only be for like 15 minutes. We wouldn't keep him long. I'd love to get John on. Philly Godfather will be with us. That'll be at 5:30 Eastern time. Sills. The defense got a little beat up yesterday, but I think they'll be all right. Under what premise, Philip? That defense being that bad, 30th scoring, 31st red zone, and 30th third down. Yeah. That's not balance. And once again, to my point of balance, you're 8th in offense and you're 31st in defense. That's not balance. I could win a Super Bowl with a team that's 15-15 or at least be in the playoffs if you're hanging around 15-15. You don't have to be. Hey, look at the Dolphins. Look at any team with a high-powered offense. You have to have some resemblance of something that stops people. No. I'm talking about any team. Last year, I thought Kansas City's defense was better than their offense. From week 1 to the Super Bowl, their defense carried them. You can't be the 31st ranked defense and the 8th ranked offense and win a Super Bowl. That's not happening. Lord Von goes last year. I don't know. What I saw last night looked like last year. Sills, were you expected to adjust from the 3 tech when you were drafted? Hey, Smith & Wesson, when they had me and asked me to go from a 3 technique to a nose tackle position, I didn't even know how to play. I'd never played the position. I had never played nose tackle in my entire life. Ever. In any level. I played a tilt nose. It's kind of a 1 technique slant. Okay. Kind of a 1 technique slant. But I've never played a nose. I was never a 2-gapper. So what edge rusher would hide the deficiencies in the linebacking room. Hey, Kyle, I think you got the two guys to hide the deficiencies in the linebacking room. I don't think it's the edge. I think it's your two tackles in the middle. They didn't have a very good night stopping the run last night. They were getting moved off the ball. Those guys have to play stouter. That maybe you go to a 5 front to help the backers. Then you're putting more of an emphasis on your corners and safeties. Okay? Remember, it all starts with stopping the run. It's not who we need, it's who we have that has to step up and produce. Yeah, John McMullen said it perfectly. Dude, you don't have opportunities and options right now. You got to make the deck of cards you have in the room work. You've got to shuffle the deck and make this thing happen. That's why you've got coordinators in here now. You know, we asked this question, and I think sometimes you guys thought we were really just asking it to ask a question. Who had the tougher putt when it came to fixing their side of the ball? Kellen Moore or Vic Fangio? Kellen probably had more pressure because there's more money on that side of the ball and more equity over there. But Vic's got more of a problem when it comes to inexperience and players that really aren't quite quality guys. This guy's got to make chicken shit in some areas on that defense into chicken soup. Lord Vaughn says this team is way better. No, you're not. The worst LB court. Get this. Here's to his point. You're worse than you were in 22. You're worse than you were in 23. Even Zach Cunningham and Nicholas Morrow were better than what you have. Look at their grades of a year ago. They graded higher than any guy on your team right now. Any guy. Your entire linebacking core. Those guys aren't anybody to write home about, but they had higher grades and ratings. I'll tell you what, once again, I'd start getting Trotter some reps. Let's see what this kid has. He can't kill. Hey, he can't be any worse than what I'm seeing. I'll tell you what I saw last year, Jack. The problem that they did with that linebacking core, they started getting some cohesiveness together with Nicholas Morrow and with Zach Cunningham, and then they put that kid, Nakobe Dean, into the rotation, fucked it all up. They were actually starting to gather some steam and some consistency, and that blew that thing up. Give Trotter some plays. It can't hurt. Right now, you got to find competent people. Remember what Dave Wanstead said about Vic Fangio, who's worked with Vic. What was the one thing he said? You're not going to lose games because of Vic's scheme. You're going to lose games because of the Jimmies and Joes, dude. When he was at that golf tournament, he told you what. Somebody asked him a question, what makes a great defense? Players. Simple. Plain and simple. Look, Belichick is the recent example of this. Bill Belichick to this day is still the greatest coach of all time. Today, he doesn't have Brady. Okay? Chuck Noll lost Bradshaw. Well, what did Noll do after Bradshaw? Nothing. Nothing. Every great coach is tied with a quarterback. What did Landry do without Staubach? Nothing. Nothing. Brady was a system quarterback. Brady was a Brady system. Dude, what people don't know and understand about really great coordinators, and they keep bringing up that media-made system quarterback thing, which is ridiculous. Kyle Shanahan is a system quarterback. He finds the right quarterback that fits the system. Trey Lance couldn't. He couldn't coach a dual threat guy. And for the record, Trey Lance wasn't the guy to be that guy either. Kaepernick was 10 times better. Think about that. As much as people shit on Colin Kaepernick, he was 100 times better than Trey Lance. He was 100 times better. I mean, Kaepernick, Trey Lance couldn't polish his shoes. But what does Kyle do? What guy best fits the system that we have here? And you go out and you find that guy, but you remember something, that guy's got to execute it. You could have Sam Darnold and all the guys, and you could bring in all these other guys, but if they can't execute a quarterback system, he can't throw the ball. Just because you draw something up on a chalkboard, that doesn't mean that system's going to be efficient. You've got to have a guy that knows and processes the information and can execute the system. And if you don't have that guy, you could search for that guy for years. You could totally search for that guy for years. It's not going to be that easy, my friends. Let me finish up here on Nick. Getting ready for next week, he said. Going to be a type of game week. I thought last night was really cool, and I really liked how they were preparing the football team for next week. Joint practices at the link last night. You know, you're going to get an opportunity to see more of your starting line guys last night than you will in any of the exhibition games, which is a good thing. They got a lot of work last night, about 207, 209 of practice time on the field last night. Really good. AJ last night, matchups last night too were great. AJ with a nice catch. And what Sirianni says too is he enjoys the matchups between Q and AJ, thinks they're awesome. Loves the fact that both guys go back and forth. And like I've said before, I can't tell you what a quantity and quality that is when you get that amount of reps and those opportunities. When you have a player like A.J. Brown going against your young corner. It's great. I don't like the fact that they don't go ones versus ones. They go ones versus twos. I know you're trying to get your second team up to speed. And right now there's really not a depth chart, so to speak, with the Eagles right now. You kind of already know. Look, when you're a good team or a good offense, I should say, like the Eagles right now, you don't really have a depth chart on offense. You know who the guys are. You already know. Yeah, Jack, I don't and get this. I think the reason why you don't really have a solidified depth chart right now on both sides of the ball, because you don't know what you got on defense yet. You already know who you have on offense. I mean, you don't really have to be a rocket scientist to pick the starters out on offense, do you? I think you have to be a rocket scientist to pick the starters out on defense, though. What I heard last night from Nick, he said this: we're working on communicating with one another. Kellen, Nick, the coaching staff, and they're working on communication. Can I tell you what that's code for? Okay. When things get hot, and they get hot and heavy, you see Bill Parcells films, and he starts screaming at a player, or he starts screaming at Belichick. Don't come unglued. Don't come unglued. It's not personal. Some guys just have different personalities than other guys. I think that's just working on the personalities and communicating. Like when I say something like this to you, what the fuck was that play? Some guys would get offended by that. That's why most people in life today, when you're looking at a particular candidate for president, you don't like to be talked like that. But when you're in a profession like the NFL, and a coach comes up to your face and goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" Don't take that personal. Coach, I thought I saw. You thought what? Damn keys right in front of you. How many times do I tell you? Don't watch the ball. Watch your keys. Your keys will take you to the ball. You watch the ball will take you away from the play. End of story. Get your ass back in there. Some people would moan over that. Some people would moan over that. Many times somebody said that to me. You watched the damn ball again, didn't you? I did. That's because you were high and you looked up and you looked for the ball. The keys to football are angles. There's a reason you're in a 3 technique. There's a reason you're in a 1 shade. There's a reason when that guy's sitting deep and he's going to pull, you know to look back in for the wham block. No, hey, sorry, coach. I wish the world was like that in the NFL. It'd be a sweeter place, but it ain't. Hey, but it ain't. Lord Vaughn goes, this offense could average over 40 points, not when your defense is going to be on the field getting railroaded. I'm awake or you. They may not be hollering like that, but you know what you're going to get? You think Vic Fangio doesn't look at somebody like Jalen Carter or Jordan Davis and go, that's not cutting it, son. That's not cutting it. You need to be better. You can't have Micaiah Becton blowing you up like that. Here's the thing that I'll show you why it's important that your defensive tackles have a great year this year. Let me just show you this. Let me write this down and make it very simple for you. Here's your 2 D tackles. Let's just say you're in a 4-front. Center, guard, tackle. LB, LB, LB. Right here. Just like that. Okay, center's in the middle there. If this guard blows this tackle, these 2 tackles up, and moves him 3 yards off the ball, look where he is. He's in the scrape lane of the middle linebacker here. That means that middle linebacker's got to move what? 2 yards back to get depth so he can go up and down the line of scrimmage. You give the opposing football team a 5-yard start every play. That's how your football team gets killed. Your defensive tackles in front of you, if they get blown up like that, you know, it's funny. When I heard this morning with John McMullen and those guys talking about the linebackers are terrible, you know the first thing I thought of? How the DTs play. How did defensive tackles play? What was their role in that? Every single position has a role on protecting. Hey, if you're being blown off the ball and you got to take 2 more steps back and you have to give more of a scrape lane and you're back instead of 3 yards, 5 yards, that affects the safeties. They've got to play deep third too. You're moving your entire line of scrimmage and point of attack off the ball longer because you can't handle them running at you. Dude, this game has not changed. This game has not changed since 1920. You can't stop the run. You can't run the ball. You can't win. I don't care how many passing yards you throw for. The Eagles were a dominant football team, not by the air. They were a dominant football team because teams feared them at the point of attack. And they were always in 3rd and short. And they were knocking the bejesus off the ball on both lines of scrimmage. That 2017 team, I'll remain this thought my entire life. That was the best collection of D and offensive line talent of any Super Bowl team in the current era. Because you know why? I've never seen a Patriot team put the white flag up and wave for surrender at the end of the game. They're just dominant on both sides of the ball. You didn't have the best O-line because you had some guys out, Jason Peters and all that. You had a linebacker out in that Super Bowl. But you know what you had? A whole collection of guys off that D-line and linebacking and offensive line in 17. They were great. They were great. Sills is the best thing for defense, the run game with Barkley. Dude, hey, Rhythm, the best thing for an offense is play action. And when you have a guy like Barkley back there and you have a threat in Jalen Hurts back there, understand this. You can't defend that. That's why when you watch the 49ers play the Eagles in 22 versus playing the Eagles in 23, look how fast the linebacking play was in that game at the link compared to the game that they played in 23 in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts had Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner in cement, like they were wearing two left shoes. In that game that they played at the link in the regular season, they were flying to the ball. Why? Because they weren't fearing play action or Jalen running. And they were blowing plays up. Let me say, the 49ers destroyed you because it was predictable and you couldn't run the ball. When you can run the ball, hey, here's the thing about a football team that throws the ball a lot like Miami Dolphins. You could throw for 500 yards in a game. Or look at the Super Bowl that you beat Brady. Brady threw for 500 yards in that game. You needed one stop, and you got it. Right? Am I right? In that Super Bowl, you beat Brady. He threw for 500 yards. Insane numbers. You needed one stop. Am I right? But when you run the ball and you're running it down someone's throat 38 times a game for 250 yards, it's like having one hand tied behind your back and you can't duck. And you're just getting your ass kicked. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. Ray Lewis sat down with Roquan Smith to help him see the field better because he said it's a lot of standing still with no communication. Yeah, well, if one thing I'll say this to you, disciple, the things that I love about Ray was his communication skill set that he had and how he echoed it down the line of scrimmage. Let me say something to you, disciple. What made those Ravens defenses so insane, okay, made them so insane, you had the greatest players at each level of their defense in pro football history with Lewis and Reed. Bill Belichick says that Reed's the greatest safety that's ever played because he was the smartest safety of all time. He was a special teams guru, two-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, led the NFL in interceptions. He's the greatest safety that's ever played. Listen to him talking about how he outfoxed Peyton Manning and how he set him up. And he would set up people like Brady. Brady used to say this. He's the only guy I've ever said this to. You got to know where he is on the field. And if you don't know where he is on the field, you'll never in a million years. Hey, I've said this before. I'm awake or you. Brian Dawkins is good. He ain't no Ed Reed. He ain't no Ed Reed. That ain't happening. Accolades, championships, what others think of him, all-time NFL team. I mean, he's one of the top 25 players in the history of the sport. Sean Taylor, tremendous. Of course, I'll always say yes. Love Sean. God rest his soul. Just great. Schooled by Butch Davis. Butch recruited all them guys. Steve Atwater was a beast too. Yeah, but not like Reed. Reed set people up. Reed was the greatest safety that's ever lived. And there's no getting around it. So let me say this about Nick here. I want to finish up with Nick here. Hurts has been sharp, he said. Here's something else that was cool that Nick Sirianni said. He said that Hurts has been mobile in the pocket. I'm awake or you, says Dawkins, was all around. Yeah, well, Ed was one of the greatest special teams players of all time. 106 yard touchdown return. 106 yard interception return. Dog, not close. He's a great player. It's just not close. Seals, is the best thing for the Eagle defense run game with Barkley, Jalen. Yeah. And Kenny to burn the clock. Big rhythm to help your defense. Okay? To help your defense, you need to have sustained drives. You have to keep your defense off the field as long as you can. Jack goes like this. Dawkins is close. Once again, and I don't mind ever doing this because when we talk about a guy like Reed, I think some of you get blinded by your Eagle colors, but that's okay. Ed Reed. And I get it. And I understand. And believe me, I'm not if that's you guys and that's how you look at people, that's fine. But always remember something with Ed Reed. Okay? When you're talking about a guy like this, you're talking about a 10-time Pro Bowler. You're talking about the NFL Defensive Back of the Year, the NFL Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time Super Bowl champion. 3 times he led the NFL in interceptions. He was on the All-Decades team and on the 100th anniversary All-NFL First Team. Ring of Honor. Plus that, he was also the College Player of the Year. Unanimous Player of the Year and unanimous All-American. Most interceptions in return yards in NFL history. So when someone says this, that, Dawkins was more complete. Well, most career interceptions, return yards. Ed Reed. Longest interception return for a touchdown, 107. Reed. Most career postseason interceptions. Reed. Most seasons leading the league in interceptions. Reed. 4. Nothing more to say. Nothing more to say. Dick Train saying it because he's a Cane. No, I'm proud that he's a Cane. All I know is this. Dispute it. Not disagreeing with Reed as a GOAT, but hey, Jack. Brian Dawkins was sensational. Troy Polamalu, Ronnie Lott, Jack Tatum. All sensational. No doubt. He was just, I'm awake or you, goes, Ed had a better defense. Ed fucking made the defense. You had the 2 of the greatest players on it. In Lewis and Reed. Do you think they had anything to do with a good defense? Yeah. Hey, he had a good defense. I know. Ed Reed was on it. You played with Blades. Benny Blades was a fantastic player. Sean, great pull. Okay? Great pull. And Benny was a fine ball player, man. Really a great one. He really was. Malcolm Jenkins is a versatile, really good ball player. Okay. Michael, I hate saying that about Brian Dawkins because Brian Dawkins is one of my favorite players too. Hard hitter, leader, all of that. Everything you want in a safety, game changer. I mean, tone setter. How about this one? He's better than John Lynch. Okay. Dan would slurp Ed Reed clean. Anybody who's considered the greatest at their position at the GOAT, you always give them their flowers. Unlike you, dog, I don't sit there and root for the 14th best guy. And I'm not saying Brian is. That's like you guys saying, why do you compare the Eagles to the Chiefs? Okay, I'll start comparing you to the Saints. You said not even close, though, Sills. Well, I mean, to me, not even close is this. I wouldn't take him over him in a draft. Okay. Devontae, Nick says, great shape. Pros Pro. Could be one of the absolutely best draft picks Howie Roseman has ever had. Hey, he's not Justin Jefferson, but I'll tell you one thing that he's done. He drafted a kid here in Devontae Smith. There is no question that he is a credit to the uniform. He is an up-and-coming, even bigger star. Every year that he's been in the league, he's upped his game. He's quite a football player. I mean, kudos to you. You know what was great about him, too? You know, I remember my first day. I think, Joe, was like April 26th, 7th, like that. Like 3.5 years ago, something like that, maybe 4. I don't know, 3.5 years ago. And I remember Xander asking me, what do you make of him? I go, he's a shwimp. He's going to get hurt. And I'm sitting here going, and I was like, he ain't going to last. He's a little dude. Pros Pro. Absolute Pros Pro. Durable, reliable, great as a teammate. I mean, I don't know what else to say about him. The accolades could go on about him. The quarterbacks, according to Nick, he says that Kenny Pickett, outside of last night's interception, is having a really good camp. He likes the room. He's interested to see where these guys are going to end up in their time. Okay. I remember when people were saying Smitty wouldn't be able to last, but look at him, a silent killer. I was one of those. And is putting on more muscle as the season goes on. Hey, Devontae, I completely am one of those guys. I didn't think he had it in him. I thought he was going to look more like Jameson Williams. Guy was always hurt. Okay. Jim West, Ed Reed, best of all time, 2-3 versus Virginia Tech. How many national titles you guys got up there and on Dixburg? Just question. How many national titles you got, Junior? Did Virginia Tech ever won a national title? Or you guys still crowing about Big East titles? Wake me up when you win a national title. Okay? Henry 2-3 versus Virginia Tech. UM was on probation. And the greatest football team of all time was assembled in 2000, 2001. Wake me up when Virginia Tech's got a national championship in college football. I don't. I'm a little late, but Eagle fans or not, there's no excuse, hands down. Ed Reed's the greatest safety of all time and one of the best overall players. Hey, dude, but Shaquille, always remember this. You know, when you're talking about Brian Dawkins and Ed Reed, I mean, You're talking about greatness. Greatness. Okay? Greatness. So it's always dumb to do that. We'll finish up on this. Hey, and I'll tell you something else too. We're going to go further into a little bit of what I would expect to be next on what they have to do here as we go into game week here. And the first 6 practices, we'll do a little bit of that. Where are we on the like list right now, my friends? Can you tell me? Seals, I have no faith in the pass rush. Devontae changed the wide receiver position. In Philly, he did. I wouldn't put him in Randy Moss's league or Jerry Rice's league, but he's changed it in Philly for sure. Okay? So, 124. Outstanding. All right, guys. Do me a favor. Please continue to hit the likes. Hit that like button. Was a great night last night. Hit it. Keep it here. National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore, have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Guys, please hit the like button here. Disciple you, Pat White, Steve Sloan used to murder Virginia Tech at West Virginia, one of the best duos in the early 2000s. That was a pretty good rivalry back in the day when they were Big East and sometimes even independent guys. That was during my time when they were independents, and then they got into the Big East. Those were really good. 94 Penn State team, I thought did get screwed over. They had a really good team. If I'm not mistaken, that team was undefeated too. Good stuff there, man. Absolutely. Before we get back into the Eagles, I want to show you a little bit of coaches talk and the difference between Mike Zimmer and Vic Fangio. Mike Zimmer was explaining Mozzie Smith's camp so far. And I want you to hear, and I'm kind of paraphrasing this a little bit. So somebody asked him the question about Mozzie Smith's camp so far. Well, he's doing the right things. He looks pretty good. And, you may not see flash plays, but, he's doing a lot of the things we're asking him to do. I took away from that was, who are you talking about, a 6th rounder? This guy's a 1st-round pick of a year ago who sucked. And you're talking about a guy like that, and that's what he's brought to camp so far, is that he's been in the right place. He looks pretty good. You're not going to see flash plays. I'll take Jordan Davis every day. I'll take Jordan Davis any day over that guy. Not a chance. Mozzie Smith, that's how you're talking about him? You're talking about him like he's a 5th or 6th round draft choice. I mean, you've got to have more out of that. Well, he's in the right place. He's doing some really good things, He's not going to make a ton of flash plays for you, but, we like where he is. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's not how you talk about a 1st-round pick. Shit, Vic Fangio talks about an $18 million investment, and he says this guy can't play the run. He can't really cover anybody too well, and he's a work in progress. There's a difference. I'd rather be talked to by Vic like that than that bullshit Mike Zimmer's telling me. At least I know where I am in the room. Because you know what that kind of bullshit is with Mike Zimmer? He's talking to Jerry Jones. He ain't talking to Mozzie Smith. He's protecting the fact that he's got to make that guy better, and he knows he can't. That's not helpful. But Bryce Huff knows where he is right now, I can tell you that. Especially after last night, they know where they are. They know where they are. Hey, you got run over. And get this, everything that Vic Fangio said about Bryce Huff was on display last night. He can rush the passer. He was kind of in a position to maybe catch, but he's got brick hands. Because you know why? He's never been in that position that much. He's a situation. Why do you think a guy like Bryce Huff has brick hands? And why do you think the Jets moved off his ass? Because he's got brick hands. He's not in that position often. And he's not going to make those type of plays for you. Jesus Christ, all this stuff is starting to come to a head here. You're starting to see why the Jets moved off the guy. He's 26. They let him walk. And yet he's a big-time producer. Really? You don't let big-time producers walk out the building. Now, to what people said about Reddick, 30-31, wanted $25 million. Hey, man, I want an Aston Martin too. But Big Seal's got to hang with the Hummer. Just what it is. Hey, man, when I walk by a Ferrari shop and I see a Dino, yeah, man, that looks good. Okay, looks good. Yeah, well, I'm getting an Acura. Fly Eagle goes like this, Dan, you wanted to sign Huff. Yeah, with Reddick. Those were your 2 pass rushers? Sure. If your 2 pass rushers outside are Will and Sam or Nolan Smith and him, no thank you. I said that. What, deadline? I never said anything about a deadline. The Jets weren't offering him up at the deadline last year. Not true. I don't remember the New York Jets offering Bryce Huff up at the deadline. And by the way, if they were, don't you take anything into that when Robert Saleh built the 49er defense and built that defense in New York? Why wouldn't they have kept him? I'm not saying Robert Saleh is a great head coach or anything, but he can build a defense. He's built 2 of them. Niner all day. Was Robert Saleh a good defensive coordinator in San Francisco? I thought he was. Well, obviously, that's how he got the gig. That's how he got the gig in New York. Right? I want to show you something here. And it really does go down the line of how people see your guy, Jalen Hurts. And there's some truth to it. There's some truth to it. When the media looks at Jalen Hurts, I don't think they see an elite quarterback. Okay, I don't. And here, let me just give you some metrics on that. Jack goes, oh, here we go. No, Jack, I'm going to use their words, not mine, on how they see Hurts. Here is the media's take on who the top 5 NFC quarterbacks are. This is Jeremy Fowler, who is like their lead analyst at ESPN. His number 1 quarterback was Matthew Stafford. His number 2 was Jared Goff. His number 3 was Dak Prescott. His number 4 was Brock Purdy. Number 5 was Jordan Love. Okay? By the way, these aren't my list. Here's what the players said are the top quarterbacks in the NFC. Jalen Hurts, Eagles, 1. Dak, 2. Purdy, 3. Love, 4. And Stafford, 5. Cosmo Sills, would you take Dak over Purdy? Let me ask you this, Cosmo. Let's do it this way. And I know it's a chicken shit way of answering your question. Okay? It is. If I switched the quarterbacks and put Dak in San Francisco with Kyle, and I put Purdy in Dallas with CeeDee Lamb, who would win more? And for the record, Dak's won 36 games the last 2 years. If I just switched roles, who would you think would win? Dak. You would take Dak over Purdy, right? Fully, Dak easily. Wait a minute. Purdy's 5-2 or 5-3 or whatever it is, or 4-2 in the playoffs. He's been to 2 NFC title games. How can that be? You would take Dak. Dak folds in playoff games? Once again, Twiz, if you put Purdy in Dallas, you think he's taking them to NFC title games? I'm not sure about that. I'd like to see Dak with that kind of talent in San Francisco. Number 1 tight end, number 1 running back, one of the top 3 wide receiving cores. He's had some good talent in the past. It's funny how you guys look at playoffs and you say everybody folds just because your guy got to the game. I've said this before to you, man. Almost every big-time money quarterback is a losing record, including the Hurts. in the playoffs. Think about that. If you took the Super Bowl appearance away, I mean, he's clearly less than Lamar. Answer your own question. I'd probably take Prescott. I think he's a better passer. Nine years of choking. So Twiz still doesn't understand one thing. 9 years of choking, and 6 of those years were with Kellen Moore. But it's all Dak, right? So if Brian Johnson was the reason Jalen sucked last year, wasn't Kellen Moore the reason Dak sucked in Dallas? Or no? I'm missing it. I got you, brother. Dan, Dak's skills fit on different teams, like Cole said yesterday. Purdy needs a better supporting cast and a great left tackle. It's right. That's my problem with Brock Purdy. And Bob, here's the problem that I think the Niners are going to fall into. You give that guy $60 million and you start losing Samuel, or you lose Kittle, or you get a retirement with Trent, that guy's going to look like Derek Carr. Okay? Jay Brown goes, Dak sucks with all coaches. Then why'd you hire Dak's coach, Jay Brown? Jay Brown, you hired Dak's coach. Only place he's had success is Dallas. If Dak sucks so bad in Dallas and chokes, you hired a choking OC? Just trying to figure it out here. Oh, but he doesn't choke now. Oh, it's a Dak thing. So, Twiz, it wasn't a Jalen thing last year. It was a Brian Johnson thing, right? The quarterback wasn't his fault. It was Brian Johnson's. Dak, it was all him and not Kellen. Right? Not sure? Yes, you are. I'll work together. You hired Prescott's coach. Well, that's why the Cowboys are going to miss the playoffs this year. They have no running game. Dallas, since Jerry Jones has owned the team, has had a running game. I think Jalen quit last year. No. Hey, you see what I showed you here? People in the league think more of Hurts than people that cover the league think of Hurts. Okay. Purdy is told exactly where to throw the ball. I think Brock Purdy has better skill set in the pocket. I think those near 40 starts at Iowa State helped him as a progressive reader, and there's no question he reads defenses 10 times better than Jalen. Spreads the ball around better. His numbers dictate it. He spreads the ball better. But again, there's just two different guys getting two different assignments and getting almost the same results. We're talking Purdy and Hurts. By the way, I mean, Brock Purdy has done a lot in his first 2.5 years starting. He's been to 2 conference title games and a Super Bowl. I mean, what's your problem with him? Actually, he's had success and elevated success every year he's been a starter. Guy's 41-17. I mean, I'm not sure what the fuck you want from the guy. Win the Super Bowl for sure is what you want. And he's 4-2 in the playoffs. Brandon Ayuk is spreading the ball around. Well, when you throw for the least amount of attempts, Nicholas, and the top 20 passers in the league, and you're second or third in passing yards, and you have the highest number of yards per play, and you have the amount of completions that he had, and you still throw for over 30 touchdowns, and you have that kind of efficiency and lead the NFL in passing efficiency, yeah, that's spreading the ball around. He threw 4,100 yards, throwing 100 attempts less than Hurts. Niner, think about this Niner all day. He's had 100 less attempts than what Jalen did and threw for 500 more yards than him. I don't know. Lord Vaughn goes, Purdy's a game manager. What was Jalen last year then? What was he last year? What would you define that as? Schoolyard football? What? That's because he throws the check down. Way to go, Bob. Absolutely. Most critical. Hey, get this, Bob. There's where you win Super Bowls. I've seen two guys do it in the last 23 years. Actually, 27 years. Mahomes and Brady. They're the check down kings, aren't they? Hey, Bob, isn't that true? They're the check down kings, right? They're not looking for explosion plays. Those guys are not looking for explosion plays and big plays down the field. They're looking for methodical offenses. Whatever you're giving me, that's what I'm going to take. By the way, it's okay to punt. You ever notice why the Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs have the best special teams or some of the best special teams units in the league? Did you ever wonder that? Because many of the times it's going to come down to that field position where Adam Vinatieri kicks a field goal. Now look what they did. They signed that guy, Matt Ariza, who averages 47 yards a punt. Do you know that that could be one of the biggest free agent signs of anybody this offseason? Because Matt Ariza is a field possession changer. This guy averages 47 yards a punt. So if Patrick Mahomes, hypothetically, has a 3-and-out on his own 20, this guy kicks this ball 50 yards and puts you back on the 25 of your own and completely flips the field on you without playing any defense. Do you know how incredible that is? If you're Steve Spagnuolo, the best friend for a defense, this is why also the Eagles should have signed Matt Ariza to help your defense. You know what the best thing ever on the planet to help your defense is? It's not just an edge rusher. It's a punter who could kick your shit out of trouble. Dude, get it. Look at this. This is what will happen if this does happen this year in the first half of the season to the Eagle defense. If the Eagles get a 3-and-out and they're on their own 25 and they're down there at the 25 and they got to go 3-and-out and they get a shitty punt and you're at midfield and you're going to put your defense, as green as it is, at midfield versus Joe Burrow, he's got to go 25 yards to get a field goal, the minimum, against your soft zone defense. I mean, Andy Reid signed that. Andy Reid cut his veteran punter for the accused rapist, which he wasn't. He didn't care. This guy's going to help my football team, and he's clean. Nothing. There was nothing to it. Media made it up. Like those idiots over at Crossing Broad. When I was bringing it up, I said the Eagles should sign him. You know what they said to me? Sileo wants to sign a rapist. I'm like, he's innocent. I talked to the district attorney. I know Matt Ariza. I covered the Aztecs. I know who he is. I know what I know the attorneys. Do you know he's suing the state now? Look at Senor, Andy Reid and the Chiefs. Love law-abiding citizens. Law-abiding citizens? What the hell do you think this is? The Good Folks Club? You win Super Bowls with not just choir boys. I want everybody to be a good guy. The Good Guys Club. Well, that ain't the NFL. And Reed signed him. Dude, how could get this? Everybody had a shot at it, but the defending two-time Super Bowl champion signed him. And he won the job already. You know, there's no punter in camp. It's just him. DRC goes Aaron Hernandez vibes. Why? He didn't do anything. Or are you one of those internet guys that no matter if the court of law, it's more about the court of public opinion that you indict people on today? Character matters? Well, how the fuck do you know he doesn't have it? I think he's shown great character through this mess. Job taken from him, his reputation taken from him. Andy Reid believed in him. He was exonerated by the district attorney and by the state of California. Even the university has exonerated him. What's your problem? Or do you just hang in the court of public opinion where you castrate everybody on the internet? The internet is not the justice system. Some of you believe it is. It's not. Sills, the further past the tighter the window. Yeah, absolutely. Reed stood up for Tyreek Hill for beating his child and put Kareem Hunt because he kicked a woman. And both those players are off his team now. I don't think Tyreek Hill just being off his team was just about money. I think he put him off the team because his character too. Kareem Hunt is no longer on that team either. You can say whatever you want. They're not there any longer. I think there's a reason for that. And Kareem Hunt was a major part of that offense early on in Andy's tenure in Kansas City. Okay? You could say, hey, you have nothing on people who have been exonerated. You have nothing but your dumb ideological ways on how you think about people. Oh, because somebody said something about you, it must be true. I'm a product of that too. I don't care anymore. I'm glad Matt Ariza's in the league. I'm glad Matt Ariza got a shot. Good for him. Way to jam it back in all of the people that are snowflakes' faces. I'm so happy for him. I told him that. You know what the greatest thing is that you kick all those people like that Kevin Kirkland guy in the nuts, which is excellent. Guy's a criminal. The guy should be in prison. Now he's a chief. Now he's a chief. Fantastic. I'm going to get back to the Eagles here in a minute. Now he's a chief. Hey, can you imagine if that guy kicks for the Chiefs this year and wins the Super Bowl? This guy will go from potentially being in the jailhouse to being in the penthouse. It could be on the Pro Bowl team. Oh, man. Woo! God, will I be happy for him. Big happy for him. I don't know why you always talking about dual threat quarterbacks. Patching Mahomes in as a dual threat quarterback. He had 400 yards rushing last year. Patrick Mahomes is not a dual threat quarterback. Okay, he's not. How many touchdowns do you have? One? What do you have? One TD? He ran in certain situations when he needed to. Oh, that's high. Most of them are around 120 quarterbacks. Was it that high last year? Patrick Mahomes stats. Mahomes had 1 touchdown run. Right? Was 1? 1 TD rushing. Right? What do you have? What was it? 1? Let me see. I want to double check here. How many yards rushing? Okay, he had 389 yards rushing last year in 16 games, which came to about what? 29 yards a game. Dual threat. Wait, he had no TD rushing. So let me see here. Let me double check because Big Sills in his Miami math. 389 divided by 16. He had 24 yards rushing. Dual threat. Dual threat. Jesus. Hey, dual threat. 24 yards rushing, no touchdowns. That's a dual threat quarterback. Dual threat. This guy just called Mahomes dual threat, who runs the ball 20 yards a game with no TDs. Dual threat. How about that one, James Jones? That's a new one for me. Dual threat. He used his legs in the Super Bowl. You're damn right he did. 64 yards rushing, and he pulled it out when it mattered. That guy's not going to run dual threat, and he's not going to run RPOs in a regular season game versus the Raiders. You know why? They don't give a shit about winning regular season ball games. They care about getting into the postseason and winning Super Bowls. And Mahomes will pull out the bag of tricks and the toolbox when he needs it. Mahomes' toolbox is the biggest toolbox in the league when it comes to being able to run, pass, ambidextrous, whatever he needs, because the offense is his. You see, this guy doesn't care about winning regular season games anymore. They were a wild card team a year ago. You look at let me tell you something here about what Mahomes has done the last 2 years without Tyreek Hill even being on the team. You ready for this one, James Jones? So they got rid of Tyreek Hill, and in the process, they've taught this kid to do this. You don't need to have Hill, and you don't need to have home field. You're going to win wherever you are. And it don't matter if it's Baltimore or Arrowhead. It just don't matter. And he's like, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You don't need Tyreek Hill or you don't need Arrowhead. You're going to win it no matter what. You know why? Because you're like a coach on the field now. Same way Brady was. Brady didn't need to have home field advantage at Gillette. He didn't need that. Brady knew all those guys. Okay? There's certain guys that make those offenses their own. Chiefs defense is serious. Yeah, I know. And yours ain't. Drew Mahomes is the best thing I've ever seen, and we all have seen some great quarterbacks. We absolutely have, Charlie. What makes him, he's, get this, Charlie, I'm going to make a comparison that this could be completely off the charts. You ready? Jack Nicklaus is the greatest golfer of all time in his records and majors, and they say it, 18 majors, 19 second-place finishes. But Tiger's the best athlete and the best player I've ever seen. Okay, you know what I mean? You're just like, yeah, I'll take Tiger. I'll take Tiger. Do you consider Steve Young a dual threat? Steve Young, the most he ever had was 6 rushing touchdowns. He led the NFL in passing percentage and in passing yards and passing touchdowns. I compare him more like Aaron Rodgers, guys who were very mobile. And by the way, how long did that last? He ended his career with a concussion. And remember, the 17-year career, he played 9 behind Montana. Most he ever had in a year was 6 TDs, I think it was. That could have been the 94 Super Bowl season. But because he ran the ball so much, concussions ended his career. What do you think the Eagles' next move is? Let me get to that here. Let me get to that here. You're right. I'm awake, are you? That's like saying that your kicker's an athlete. Golfers, athletes, you're right. Kickers aren't football players. They're kind of like, I don't know, guys who play darts. I don't know. Kickers aren't football players. They're kind of, yeah. Patty's a dual threat quarterback. 20 yards a game, no touchdowns. Dual threat. Dual threat. Seals, here's where Tiger and Mahomes are alike. They both have that extra club in their bag that they can use to get out of trouble. TB12 and Jack hit it right down the fairway. You're dead on. Bob, that's a superstar take. You're right. Jack was more fundamentally sound than what Tiger was. You're so right, dude. And Tiger and Mahomes are just athletic demons. Andy Reid took trash cans to 5 NFC championships. If you can do that in Philly, you should have known he could do that in Kansas City. A disciple. It really is about finding a quarterback, though. Nobody thought Mahomes coming out of Texas Tech was going to be the guy. I mean, they wanted John Dorsey to draft Deshaun Watson or Mitchell Trubisky. Said those guys would, those guys would win more than what Patrick Mahomes ever would. Shannon Sharp went so far to say those guys will win a title before Patrick Mahomes ever will. Nobody really thought a lot of him. Okay? Brady took school teachers to the Super Bowl. Isn't that wild? Look at what DRC says here. Hurts has 2 of the best wide receivers in pro football. And Brady took a rugby player, a converted quarterback, and a converted DB in Troy Brown to Super Bowl wins. A converted quarterback, a rugby player, and a return guy in Welker, and never a superstar wide receiver did he ever have in New England. Listen, and won a Super Bowl with. That's kind of, yeah, you're right, lacrosse. That's kind of what's going on in Kansas City now. It is funny, though. Both teams have had superstar tight ends. Okay. They have had superstar tight ends, and Andy had good ones in Philly, too, by the way. Suplex. Mahomes was wild coming out of Texas Tech. Cliff Kingsbury, too. Hey, real quick before I get, or we take a little time out here. Hang on here. So John Mars finally had enough. He came out yesterday. Someone asked him at training camp, the owner of the New York Giants, hey, what do you want to see this year? Well, Joe Schoen and Brian Dable, no, we have to see. Ready for it? Significant improvement. Significant improvement. Dude, you are not going to have significant improvement. Okay? With Damian Jones or, hey, Danielle Jones, you're not going to have that. That guy sucks. I mean, he's worse than Dave Brown. That guy might be the worst quarterback since Joe Pisarcik. Joe Krause knows that one. Hey, Joe Krause knows that one. This guy might be the worst quarterback since Joe Pisarcik. I mean, he stinks. This guy stinks, man. And John Mayer is finally coming out. I think, I'm going to tell you this, man. Oh, Nate Sudfeld. Don't tell me the greatness of Nate Sudfeld's in the building. That's the ultimate Russian spy for Howie Roseman. Psst. Hey, Russia hoax. What do you mean? Nate, I need you to sabotage Doug. What? Yeah, you'll have a long NFL career holding ice. I promise you. What do you want me to do? Go in there and fuck that last game up at the link for Doug. Just sabotage that thing, man. I got to get rid of this guy. Nate Sudfeld, the ultimate Russian spy. Oh, man. Dan, what would you do next year with the number 1 pick? Edge rusher. Edge rusher. Got to get an edge rusher. And do me a favor. Try to draft somebody that's a 3-down guy. Not one of these guys that you can take out a Swiss Army knife and you get like the corkscrew and you barely use the corkscrew. That's who Bryce Huff is. He's the corkscrew and a Swiss Army knife. How many times do you ever use the toothpick? Like never. He's, you use it sometimes, or the corkscrew. You don't use the corkscrew on the Swiss Army knife. That's who Bryce Huff is. He's not the blade. Okay, give me the blade. I want a guy like that. I need it all the time. I need an edge rusher. They need a hey, if they got the guys they think they got in Cooper DeJean and also with Quinyon Mitchell, sign a free agent linebacker that's worth the shit this time. And also get an edge rusher. And by the way, if Howie won't spend the money, but he'll go in the draft on defense. Yeah, DRC, you need a 3-down guy. Absolutely, you need a 3-down guy. Sills, is that what the case is with the one edge rusher from Ohio State? Yeah, that kid looks pretty good, doesn't he? There's a kid at Tennessee, too, that looks pretty good. There's 2 dudes in the draft that look like they could be, but they're going to go top end of the NFL draft. I forget their names right now. The kid from Tennessee and kid from Ohio State. Those are your good. Those guys are going to go top 10. So I don't know. I heard the Giants trying to sign Nick Foles. Why not? What? If you're Nick Foles, how many more shitty jobs are you going to take? I mean, poor Nick. Hey, Nick, can you come clean up this shit house for me? Which one? Jacksonville. Sure. I got paid for that shit house to clean up. Hey, how about you come to Chicago? Damn, Chicago hasn't had an all-pro quarterback in 75 years. All right, let me go to that crappy-ass place. Where to next? Well, let me go to Indianapolis. Oh, great. The greatness of the pill popper and the guy who likes writing false subscriptions, Jim Irsay. Sure, that's a good place, too. Hey, subscribe me. This guy ever get a break? I mean, the only place he's ever had a decent stop in has been Philly. Didn't the Rams have his ass, too, at one time? The greatness of Jeff Fisher? Didn't they have his ass, too? This guy's been in some really shitty places. All bad coaches that don't know how to deal with quarterbacks. Every place except Philly. The guy was in with Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher benched golf. And this guy was, and look at his record look at Jeff Fisher's record the last 10 years. Coaching in the XFL, UFL, and NFL. He's had no winning seasons in 12 years. How are you coaching? I mean, how are you coaching? Yeah, Nick Foles, man. I mean, if I'm Foles, why don't you go to, well, he can't go to Kansas City now because Wentz is there. But go someplace like Baltimore. Should have never left Philly. Okay. Giants need to call Eli. No. Dopey's doing a really good job right now with his brother. So, yeah, hey, I'm going to get back on the on Sirianni, and I like that angle too. we're going to go what's next as we get into game week here for the Ravens. A little bit last night on that stuff with the kickoffs. I'm not really getting the kickoff stuff. All right, where are we on the like list, guys? Like to get to 200 like we did yesterday. Sills, I think it's realistic that Jack Sawyer, edge rusher from Ohio State, could be down there in the draft. I don't know, man, depending on what kind of season they have. I think Ohio State's going to be in the top 3, and they're probably going to be in the semifinals when it comes to the college football. They got a pretty good football team. They got a lot of good guys, man. Fisher runs out the 46 defense like in 86. Yeah, he learned it from Buddy. That's where he got it from. He learned it from Buddy Ryan. Obviously, learning the 46. I think he was a DB coach for Ryan, too, if I'm not mistaken. I think he even played for Buddy in Chicago. Sills, Philly put a system together that fits Foles. It was a PG. The Rams, Bears, Jags wanted him to just throw deep. I think Foles is great. Folks, where are we on the like list right now? Please hit that like button. We're going to talk about game week coming up. And one more thing, a little bit about what they did in the first week. Don't forget, Philly Godfather is going to join us also at 5:30 Eastern time. Sills, the corner from Colorado's top 10. Yeah. Travis Hunter. I think he's top 3. I think he's the top 3 player. 171. Fantastic, guys. 29 away from 200. That'd be a great way to finish the week. We really appreciate you guys so much. Please hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sills National Football Show. Appreciate you guys coming aboard. Real quick before we get into Nick and what's next for game week, as you get ready for the Ravens this coming week, and also to a little bit about the Hall of Fame game. I got to write shit down because Big Sills and CTE. So we do that. I want to say this thing here. I don't know how many of you are watching the Olympics and shit, what's going on. Nobody's watching the Chicks basketball team. These people are so stupid, and so the media is so liberal, it's sick. You don't want that white chick on your team because she's white. It's the only reason. You don't understand that even the news people in today's world sells race. It's not a bad thing to talk about. Still, there's a really great white chick. Great. That means there's going to be more economic dollars and more eyeballs to my sport. Why are you talking like that? Because that's the truth. So many people today, you see, you can't do terrestrial radio or you can't talk like this because people would be offended by that. You're actually talking the truth. I'm going to sell race all I can. The networks do. They sell race every day. CNN and Fox make a career out of ping-ponging racial innuendos back and forth. Trump's a racist. Let's go to commercial break. Trump's a savior. Let's go to commercial break. They do it. Why wouldn't the WNBA do it? And plus, it helps every other black legendary basketball player that's ever put a building block in the WNBA that's been a losing entity for 30 years. Do you know that WNBA has been a losing league for 30 years? 28 exactly. 28 years they've lost money. Now they just signed $1 billion deal. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark should be on that U.S. Olympic team. Why? They're needle movers. That's like telling me that Tiger Woods shouldn't be on the Masters. You ever wonder why networks follow Tiger Thursdays and Fridays? He's not competitive anymore. And that those are the biggest rating days. Because here's the black greatest player and legendary player. Tiger was Larry Bird and Magic Johnson all in one for golf. Greatness, superior athlete, everything. All of it. You rarely get that in life. Take advantage of that. My God almighty, people are so sensitive and want to stick on one side of the aisle. Man, I'll sell it. You give it to me, I'll sell race. One of the things that we always did when I did terrestrial radio, race, religion, and politics, got me in trouble. Sure did, because they're uncomfortable topics. Sports now is littered with it. Look at the Olympics. You got a dude beating a chick up. How about Saquon Barkley coming out going, that's offensive? I couldn't, almost knocked me over. Des Bryant, everyone. You see Mike Tyson go, I'll fight her. Like, I don't think we go there, Mike. I was like, okay. Even Saquon Barkley. These athletes coming out of their shells. I love that. I thought that was fantastic. Dude, Saquon Barkley, man, more and more he speaks, the more I like him. Except for this. Xander, that jersey you showed on Birds 365 this morning, I don't know. I might not want that one out there again. The Eagles have too many good gears, and they have too many good jerseys. That might not be the one I want. Senor, you could say whatever bullshit you want. Not a dude. Yeah, well, then how come the International Boxing Federation is barter? They barter from all their events. The only people that came in were, of course, were the Olympic Games to come floating in with their politics. Do your research, as Prince would say. Sports is definitely in third place. Religion and politics. I'll tell you something, though. I'm awake or you. One thing is for sure is that sports, religion, and politics are front and center right now. And if you're in any of those media platforms, you should be making a killing this coming fall. That box you in the woman, I see you in the news. Yeah, okay. Sales, I don't agree with having a guy in a dress fight a female in the Olympics because I have a sister. Well, of course, Kyle. But remember something. It's the Olympics. It's not that they have done the wrong thing before in the past. 36-72. Hal Hitler at the Israeli soccer team. Let's move on. The kickoff rule last night. I don't know. I don't get it. Stop overcooking it. You know what you should just do? Just line it up on the 35. Take the kickoff completely out of the game. You don't want to have any concussions? Why do something dumb like this and quirky like this? And you'll be manipulating it all year. It looked dumb. I mean, what was the number? I wrote it down here. 8 kickoffs. Oh, it was like 17 like different opportunities or something. 8 kickoffs, 1 touchback, a 31-yard return. It just looked quirky. Senor, you had the greatest returners in the game at one time that were making plays in special teams. There's a guy that's going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame on Saturday because of it. Devin Hester was like, I don't know. We'll see. I think they're working through it or what have you. Okay, but I don't know. Welcome to Rome. You are now inside the Colosseum. Are you not entertained? God, I love that movie. I do. I wish Sills had a show covering my Canes. No, they threw me out. Lit City, as you know. They didn't want me to talk about the Canes. Well, Mario does now. But, for years because it's funny. Isn't it? Hey, Lit City, you know my history there. You think I'm hard on the Eagles. I was on the flagship of the Miami Hurricanes. And I quit my post-game show right live on air. I'm not doing this any longer. I was making about $2,000 a week on WQAM for the legendary Joe Bell. And I went like this. I'm not covering this shit anymore. I can't stand pathetic football. I'd rather be washing my car. Program director came right in and went, are you serious? I go, I wouldn't have said it. I quit right there. They were shuffling around going, well, we made a decision. And they didn't make no decision. I quit on the air. I went, no. Then that stupid ass Al Golden that you guys had at Temple. Al Golden got down there. I called him the biggest destruction guy. Him and that Donna Shalala chick that worked in the Clinton administration. Hate her. Along with Barry Alvarez ruined my program. And I was on the air saying that. What does she know about winning? She's taking checks from Nevin Shapiro, who was one of the biggest scam artists of all time and hedge fund people who ruined people's lives. Also, he could run out of the tunnel. Called them disgraces. Dan Sileo, fire him. All he does is talk shit on the Canes. Well, when you're 7-6, and I've won 2 national championships, and I lost 1 game in 3 years, you're going to get a different bird's eye view from Big Sills. So when you guys think that I'm talking harsh about your Eagles, this is not about regular season wins, my friends. This is about being in a team sport and hoisting up the most celebrated trophy in American sports, the Lombardi Trophy. I had a guy tell me the other day, Sills, that's not the biggest trophy in team sports. It's World Cup. I go, I don't give a fuck about soccer. Sorry, Betty. You soccer, all good. But World Cup, I could care less about Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi. I don't care. My world's America. And the Lombardi Trophy, to me, that's why the ratings are the highest. Steve goes, Canes are mid. Here, Steve, you have had one 10-win season in 22 years. I don't know what else to tell you. Think about that, Steve. One 10-win team in 22 years. And my group and my class started the 58 home game win streak. We didn't lose a home game for 11 years. 4 different recruiting classes or 5 different recruiting classes went through Miami, never losing a game at home. A record never be broken. I think George is at 25 now. Another 5 years. Wake me up. Wake me up. Hey, you know what was really cool? Real quick, and I'll move off it, but remember those dolls they used to have, those big giant dolls? I remember we had a guy in the top of the upper deck of the Orange Bowl with a noose around Brian Bosworth, hanging him off the upper deck. Bosworth's looking up. I come walking on the field. There was an exchange, defense to offense. I looked over at him. I called him the most overrated player in the history of college football. I looked over at him. I go, yeah, man, it's a tough crowd, isn't it? He looked at me and he goes, you asshole. And I go, that's a pretty tough crowd, man. Is that you up there? Dove goes, you didn't play 11 years. No, dickhead. I said my class started the home undefeated streak. Try listening, kid. You didn't play 11 years. No, really? Unless I was on a GI Bill, kid. You're right, D. Hurts. I can't stand wokeness or the left. You know why you can't Philly 500? House of Mouse. Thank you for the super chat. You know why you can't? Sports doesn't allow it. Sports has the ultimate aphrodisiac. Scoreboard. He didn't win the election. Yes, he did. No, he didn't. Well, I know who won the game. No, he didn't. Oh, there it is. There's the scoreboard. You can't move the scoreboard, dog. As much as you try to move the scoreboard, you can't. You can't move the scoreboard, and that's why fans love sports. You can move the yardsticks and politics and whatever, anything you want. In sports, winner, loser. As my pop would say, no gray area. Okay. I got to do this. I have to do this, man. Big Sills. The guy I love to hate. Hold on. I need a t-shirt of that, Big Joe. And I need a t-shirt of that. Truth, justice, and the Big Sills way. For sure. I love this, man. This is great. Big Sills, the guy I love to hate. Then was it Jerome who wore the camouflage when he came to play Penn State? He did. But Angelo, it was my idea. I wore him all year. But again, I didn't do it for any kind of political statement. I wore them because my legs are big. And remember the painter's pants? Okay, remember painter's pants and like the camouflage pants? They got big legs, right? That's the only reason I wore them. So I'd wear them to every game. And Jerome goes, you wear those things to every game because you're going to battle? I go, no, I'm wearing them because they fit good on me. And he was like, yeah, but this is a really great idea. Jerome was the guy with the guns and the camouflage and the ammo and the grenades at Penn State. Mike Missinelli, by the way, he's going back on 97.5, wrote a book about Jerome and I. You can Google it. It's pretty entertaining what he says about us. I know it's only practice, but the vibes are definitely different compared to last year. Yeah, keep grinding, Sills. Thank you very much, Uncle. Oh no, I look. I think the one thing that you're getting out of these camps is you're getting a good vibe. You're getting a good vibe. Seals, tell the Booner Sooner story for these snowflakes. Okay. So we're at Memorial Field in Norman, Oklahoma. And these guys thought that they were big shit. And Jerome Brown, we're sitting there, we're stretching. Jerome goes, if that fucking thing comes through our fucking work warm-up one more time, where I didn't think anything of it. I'm sitting next to him. I got a great picture of me and Jerome at Memorial Stadium beating the shit out of them, playing against Jamal Holloway. It's great. And Jerome goes, that motherfucker runs that thing through this thing. I'm going to flip that bitch over the head. Cheerleader chicks and guys on it. I didn't really think he would do it. They ran that thing through our warm-up. Man, he jumped up like he was a Tasmanian devil. He got up and this guy flipped this thing. We went over and helped him, but he flipped this thing upside down. The horses and everybody were carrying these guys up the field. Guys are getting like astroturf burn on the keep your shit out of here. We went on to kill them 28-10 or something. First time they had been beaten at home in an opener in 35 years. Jerome was a maniac. And I've told you guys this story before. I've never seen a football game like that in my life. I've never seen a guy crush something like I've never seen it. It was possessing. He was possessed. 20 some odd tackles, interception, punt, interception, block field goal, 3 sacks, broke Aikman's leg. It was complete destruction. And I told you, I sat over on the bench and I'm looking over and I'm looking down and he goes, what? I go, shut up. And he goes, what? I go, I've never seen anything like that. And I never will. And he goes like this. He patted me and he goes, I love you. And I go, dude, I've never seen anything like that. I will never see anything like that again. And I've never seen anything like it to this day. Complete destruction. Broke the quarterback, interceptions, sacks, fumble recoveries, blocked field goals, broke Aikman's leg. The whole thing was insane. You had to be there. You just had to watch him do this. So when he got to Philly, you were like, that doesn't shock you. It just was. You know, Joe Kraus sent me a video of when Jerome passed and Reggie announced it to you guys. It was a tough day, man. I got to tell you, man. That guy, it's 32 years now he's dead. Just tell you, man. You had to be there to see this guy play. Hey, Charlie, we're getting ready to shake hands against Oklahoma. Jerome goes out to center field. He's the only guy, Bosworth and all these guys. Google it. You'll see it. He walks out to the middle of the field and he goes like this. And the referees go like this to us. This is why we were considered the biggest assholes of all time. Jerome's sitting here like this. Fuck you. Fuck you. It's on ABC television. Eric Parsegian and Musburger calling the game. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm the man. I'm the boss. I'm the boss. I'm sitting there going, we're going to get killed for this. Referee goes, shake hands. Jerome goes, I'm not shaking those bitches' hands. They threw a 15-yard penalty on us before the game started. Jimmy's like, what? I don't think it's ever happened. They threw a 15-yard penalty on us before the game started. Because Jerome was like, I'm the boss. I'm the boss. He goes walking back at me. He goes like this. I go, you're a dick. We just got a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct because he goes, does it matter? I go, not really. Jimmy comes walking over and I go, Coach, it won't matter. I think we beat them 31-15 or something. I know we killed them. They were number 1 too. Oh, just what a great 15-yard penalty. Hey, fitness, just like this. Fuck you, I'm the boss. I'm the boss. Jerome's saying this. They got Bosworth and, Spencer Tillman, who now works for Fox. He's an analyst. He was on that team, and he was there. They were across the front. Keith Jackson, your own very Keith Jackson. He was there too. Jerome's going, I'm the boss. I'm the boss. I'm like, I couldn't help it. I just was like, this guy's out of his can, man. He's fucking nuts. Hey, he's out of his mind. And we terrorized that team. Oh, hey. I hope I'm not boring you with this, but I have to show you this here because Jerome, I mean, he was, and I'm so happy that you guys remember him. I really am. I do, because I'm glad that you guys, even Joe Krause sent me that, and I'm really glad about it, man. Really cool. Yeah. He was here. Check this out. So this was after I started talking shit and I started learning more Jerome stories. Well, here's one for you, Sean. So Jerome goes, you need to talk more shit. So I went like this. All right. So Sileo backed up his big mouth against Oklahoma. Hurricane tackle had Sooners wondering who the fuck he was. Those are headlines in the Miami Herald across the country. Sileo backs his big mouth up. I killed that team because Jerome's fueling me. He's fueling me right next to me. Talk shit. You're the boss. I'm going like, shut up. Fun times, man. Days of Camelot. Never anything like it outside of my kid being born, being a Miami Hurricane with Jerome Brown. Greatest time of my life. And growing up with my folks in Stanford are the greatest times of my life, especially my pop. Seals, how much did Reggie and Jerome actually get along? They were brothers. They were brothers. And Reggie looked up to Jerome. It wasn't the reverse. Couldn't believe how Jerome would just say some of the shit he would say. Wow. Remember, Reggie was from Tennessee or something, Memphis or Birmingham or some shit like that. He didn't have that kind of. Jerome brought the personality out of Reggie White. And it was Jerome that made him more vocal. And once he became more vocal, Norman Brayman thought he was a guy who hated Jews, which wasn't true. Jerome went to him, Norman Brayman, numerous times. I did. Said the same thing. Remember, Norman's still alive and he's a friend of mine. He lives in Miami. And when that started going around, when they were thinking of moving off of Jerome or off of Reggie, and Norman Brayman thought he didn't have anything left, but we all thought it was more about his religious beliefs. And Norman thought he was anti-Semite. It's not true. He was not. And Reggie loved everybody. It's not true. I knew Reggie White exceptionally well. We were pallbearers at Jerome's funeral, him and I. It's just not true. So, I mean, but Norman Brayman had to get him out of there. And we never understood why. Norman didn't like him. He loved Jerome. If Jerome Brown doesn't die, Reggie doesn't leave Philly. Okay? He doesn't leave Philly if Jerome Brown doesn't die. He would never have left Philly. No way. Because Jerome would never have left Philly. You know, Rich Kotite, he hated him. I don't know how that dynamic would have worked if when Buddy left, if Jerome would have stayed. He may have went to Dallas and played for Jimmy. I don't know. Probably something like that. He would have went to Dallas, probably, and played for Jimmy. That's how that probably would have worked. But he wouldn't have left. He loved Philly. Dude, again, I ask you guys this all the time. What's that area? The Bluffs, the Plateau or whatever. They had camps up there. I used to show up there. They had all the inner city kids up there. We'd have a football camp. Randall would show up. Andre Waters, Wilkes, Ron Heller would show up. Ron Salt would show up. Dave Remington, Clyde Simmons, all of the guys. It was really a fun time. And he would have a camp up there. Reggie had a camp up there too. Okay, I mean, it's great. The Belmont Plateau, that sounds, yeah, we'd go there. Hey, Ken, is that like a place where you can have cookouts and shit like that? And you can have barbecues? Because we had we put on barbecues after we had these. Seth Joyner was there most of the time. I got to tell you about Seth. You know, the guy you see and you hear now on shows and like Our Place and like you hear him on WIP. Man, Seth didn't have that attitude back then, man. You didn't know what the hell that guy was thinking. He thought you thought he might jump you, and you might think that guy jump you like a spider monkey, man. That guy, because you didn't know what he was going to do, man. He was a frightening guy, man. Hey, how you doing? And you're like this, man. Jerome, he goes, hey, he's a good guy, man. He's just got to get to know him. He don't say much. Seth Joyner, man, was an intimidating dude, man, when he played. So how good was Gullick? He was solid, man. He's a good football player. He played over 10 years, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Sills, who was your favorite person on your offense in college at UM? Alonzo Highsmith. Toughest motherfucker I've ever been around. Never seen anything like it. He cut out of a steak. You know, Michael Irvin, too. Michael Irvin's my brother. You know, Michael, I love Michael Irvin a lot. And we've been through a lot. You know, tell you just a small but not full story. Mike got in trouble. Sills, I need you to stand up for me. I said, man, it's a big ask. Yeah, but you know who her father is? Yeah, he's the dean of discipline at the University of Miami. And you're fucking around with her? It wasn't just, I'm like, I don't want to know. I said, hey, I got a grandfather back home and an aunt. And he go, I can't get thrown out of this place here, man. Yeah, but you know her too. I don't know shit. Hey, I don't know shit. And then that same week, we get this. I don't know how I got on these stories, and I apologize. I got this. I open up the door. It's the Miami police. I'm like, yeah. He goes, is Jerome Brown here? I go, who's asking? and the guy goes, who do you think? And I go, no, Jerome's not here right now. He goes, well, can we look around? I'm like, hey, I think I'm going to have to call Jimmy and, you know, I'm going to have to call the AD here before I don't know what to do. And he goes, let us in. I said, I can't do that. So the cop goes like this remember them old milk cans where people used to jump the milk off? Some of you guys are way too young for this. And the guy picked up and opened up the milk canister thing where you would put milk in there. The milk bottles that were empty back in the day. Jerome had all of his guns in there. Glock, Beretta, brass knuckles. I was like, he goes, don't worry. We don't need to look any further. You tell Jerome we're looking for him. Close the door. He comes walking out. Dang, Sills, I go, they got your fucking guns. They're going to come back here. You better call Jimmy. Hey, you can't tell them they're my guns. They don't think they're mine. They're registered to you. Holy shit. They kicked them off campus. They kicked him off campus. He came rolling in, and he comes back, and he still slept in our room, my room. And I go like this. He goes, they only kicked me off campus. I said, damn, dude, if you were a white guy, they'd have put you in jail. I said, if you were a white guy, they'd put you in jail, dude. Who are you kidding? Those guns were, hey, all I'm going to tell you, Bob, is I thought they were. Hey, Bob, I thought they were. What do you want out of me? I'm doing the best I can. You know? What do you... Oh, Jerome was legend? Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. And I never minded telling those stories about him. Okay. It was so Miami. Holy cow, was it ever, man. What do you think of Greg Olson rap game? Yeah, that might have been a little over the line there, Steven. Not something I would have probably did. I don't know. Oh, God. I mean, hey, Sue, the Jerome Brown stories are endless. The Klan one. Hey, Sills, come up to Brooksville. By the way, I got my first black girlfriend from Brooksville because of Jerome. Sunshine. Aunt Betty, I'm sorry. So I go, I'm at a Klan rally? No, pick it up. You dumbass mother. You know Hugh Culverhouse for the Bucks is a racist. You got me in a Klan rally? You got to help me break it up. Jerome, my God. Here come the Klan guys with their little hats on and shit. Jerome, let's go kick their ass. Dude, I'm from Connecticut. I'm an Italian. I don't know anything about shit like this. I have no idea. Jerome gets it all together. We're drinking beers. Jerome got these guys to cool down and everybody. He loved Brooksville. I got a great video of him always. We're sitting there always every time we're on TV. Brooksville! Jerome loved Brooksville. Yeah, Jerome stopped the Klan rally. Google it. Sports Illustrated did an expose on it. It was pretty crazy. It was crazy. What are you doing? I came up here for a camp. Oh, no, the camp's tomorrow. The camp's tomorrow? What are we doing today? We're breaking the Klan rally up. No. Oh, man. This is the Sills we love, honest. Jameson Smith. Hey, Sills, tell Aunt Betty she was Sicilian. And she was Southern Sicilian. She was more, she was down on the Messina side. She's from Messina, Sicily. Okay, fair enough. Don't wait. Hey, Aunt Betty. She kind of looked like Grandpa Rhoda. All right. Where am I in the like list? They probably took them away. Okay? They probably took some likes away after this 15 minutes here. Where are we on the like list? We're trying to get to 200, guys. I really appreciate you here on a Friday. It was a great night last night. 194, that's fantastic. 6 to go for 200. Love to see if we can get to 250. Philly Godfather's going to join us at 5:30 Eastern time. Thank you guys so much for putting up with my BS. But by the way, just to tell you one last thing here about Jerome and such. It's the greatest education I ever had. I pretty much went to an all-white Catholic school. And the greatest education I ever had on dealing with humans was with my teammates at Miami. So all the shit you read about me on the internet, I may have crazy-ass political opinions, but there's one thing you always know this. That's where it stays. Because my brothers that I played with, and I mean white and black, I don't have black friends. I have friends. It's how I've always looked at everyone. You always hear people go, well, hey, I got a lot of black friends. Dude, that's a dick comment. That's a dick comment. You either have friends or you don't. You can't quantify them. I got a bunch of Japanese friends. What? Hit the pavement. You're not a real dude. You know what I'm saying? Hit the like button. Power Hour coming up. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Somebody in here is trying to out themselves. She best be careful. Okay? She best be careful. Hit the like button. Try to get to 250 likes. We really appreciate it. By the way, moving forward, before we get into a little bit of a recap of what happened last night, and Philly Godfather will join us at 5:30. We'll get his takes on what he's seen this first week. And also, as we get ready to move forward, we'll have an opportunity to look at what game week is going to be. Okay? Carlos says, Reggie White was a true gentleman. I got the pleasure of meeting him twice as a kid going to Tennessee games, and Granddad had pulled some. We got in free every Saturday and went all the time. So you went to Vol games. Hey, Carlos, you want to hear something? The first time I met Reggie White, I didn't meet him through Jerome. I met him at the Citrus Bowl in 1983. My freshman year. He was playing at Tennessee and I was at Maryland. And I had heard all about this guy. Boomer Esiason was my quarterback. And they shut down Disney World. And it was like the first year of Epcot Center. And so we went on all these rides and there was Reggie. And get this, remember Charles Davis, the guy who works at the NFL Network? He was on that team. And I met Charles Davis and he and I were friends ever since. Reggie was one of the nicest guys. He reminds me of this guy. Leroy Selman is the kindest man I've ever known in my life. I don't know if he was a kinder man or a better football player because they were both synonymous with one another. I've never seen people with those personalities have such a massive engine and could destroy things. And this is the greatest 34 defensive end that's ever lived. Leroy Selman. Joe Green says it. It's true. He's the greatest 34 end of all time. You couldn't block him. I wore 93 in college because of him. And he became my dearest friend. And him and Reggie had the same kind of personality. And hey, I know I'm in storytelling mode, but I'll tell you a story. We're at Jerome's house and Reggie's spending the night. You're going to think that I'm the biggest quack of all time when I tell you this story. So I'm sleeping on the couch. Jerome comes in. He's sitting there. We're watching TV. We're talking. I don't know. We're eating pizza or some shit. Reggie White's in the other room going, Jerome's just drinking tea, eating a pizza. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on in there? What is that? He goes, it's Latin. I said, what? I go, Reggie White knows Latin? No, you hear that stuff when you're a young kid and you go to Catholic and you go to Catholic schools. You hear it and you're like, how does he know? What do you mean he knows Latin? And he's like, he's chanting. Mr. Brown comes down, Willie. We're sitting there. He's heard it. These guys have obviously heard. I was scared. I'm like, what's going on? Is he all right? He's just talking into tongues. What? Yeah, Reggie will talk into tongues. He goes into some sort of like seizure and such. He'll just start talking in tongues. He does it on the road all the time when I'm on the road with him. Tongues what? Yeah, religious talks into tongues. I'm not getting. He goes, like a religious thing. Does he remember it when he wakes up? He goes, no. Reggie White doesn't speak Latin, but he does in his sleep. Yeah. I heard it. I was like, blew my mind. To this day, I rarely tell that story because it's just too unbelievable. Ask anyone who knows him. They'll tell you he speaks in the tongues or spoke in the tongues. I mean, this guy was really deeply religious, man. Craziness. Greatest guy on the planet. What a kind man. Then you get on the football field. This guy rip you a new one. Never seen anything like it. Destruction. I wrote Reggie as a child, and he sent me an autograph like 10 Jesus as Lord in cards. Jack, that's awesome. I'm so happy to hear those stories. Dan, I heard Ben Van Sumeren, Eagles linebacker, has impressed Vic Fangio. Well, not last night, I don't think. Big Sills, what's up with our Canes? Also, still have JB's rookie card. Damon. They better win more than 10 games this year, Damon. And that's awesome. Thank you for keeping his spirit alive. Always remember that. 32nd anniversary of his passing on June 25th. Yeah. So let's see. Great story, Sills. Hey, I'm awake. Are you? I'm just privileged to have been around those men. I thought you had to be drunk off your ass to speak. Hey, Manster, I don't even, maybe, I don't know. Or high as a kite. I don't know. I know he didn't do drugs. Okay. Sills, I was a lot crazier when I was in high school. Not me, Kyle. I was let's see if somebody says something in here. Not me. I was never crazy as a kid. I was a salt of the earth guy. I was humble. I didn't get in any kind of trouble ever. Yeah. I mean, hey, I got to make sure there's no dark clouds out that I get hit by lightning. I just got to make sure, right, that I don't get hit by lightning when we do that. Reggie, LT, Ed Reed, primetime, Bruce Smith, top 5 defensive players of all time. And you might want to put Ray in there too. He's in that conversation. Hurts looks good against our mediocre defense. Looking forward to seeing him. Yeah, but Jeff, think about this. How many mediocre defenses is he going to play this year? Giants stink, right? Atlanta's getting a little better. Hey, it's a good point when you say that. I mean, are they really going to be tested a lot this year, you think? I mean, they look like that against all the good defenses are over on the AFC side. Sills was Brown, the only one in the car. I was thinking he had a kid too. Augustus was in there. He was in the car, his sister's son, and he was decapitated. And they buried him together. So, yeah, he was in there. She found out driving home from Florida State. It was a break during the summer, and she was driving down 95, coming over to the 5. No. Yeah. And she found out she had to pull over, and they went and found her, Jerome's sister, and they had to drive her home because she couldn't drive. Obviously, she lost her son. A brand new Corvette he picked up, too. It was a CR or something like that, CR4. It's like a $45,000 Corvette. This guy went and it was crazy. Oh, man. Yeah. All right. Hey, listen, guys. I want to do something here before we get Philly Godfather on with us here. Big Seal's here for BetUS. Got a brand new partner here with the program. Want to make sure you guys understand this here, man. And if you're looking for a new book this football season, this is your place. BetUS is that answer. They've teamed up with JAKIB Sports, and we are here to tell you about our new partnership here for the upcoming football season. This is going to be spectacular here. Right now, you get 125% by signing up. You get a signing bonus of $2,000 on this. And how about this one here too? Crypto, 200% if you sign up now. Like, this is like Michael Vick's deal here, okay? Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. This is where you see our boy here, Michael Vick here, man. This is where he goes. Fastest payouts in the business, 24/7 personalization. They're going to be there for you 365 days of the year. They're going to be able to give you also live wagering on all major games. Plus, BetUS can give you, how about this, a personalized account executive to help you go through all these games this coming fall here. So let's do this. Let's go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
Michael Vick at betus.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
That's nice of you, Wayne. I appreciate you guys being here. Please hit the like button. Thanks for being so genuine, Sills, for all the shit you talk. It's cool to know that you speak of one of ours. So much love for Jerome and Reggie White. Would be so happy to hear, and so well spoken of. Hey, look at this, man. That's how I used to contact Jerome all the time. Oh, is that Kamala Harris's boyfriend down there too? I think so. Oh, I didn't realize that. There's Kamala Harris's boyfriend. Hey, maybe I shouldn't have done that one there. Forgot. Oh, man. Yeah, the creatures will be coming after Big Sills even more. You know Willie Brown? Oh, I know Willie Brown really well. Love Willie Brown, former mayor of San Francisco. One of my dear friends, man. Let's go. Absolutely. Billy Godfather will join us in a couple minutes here. Let me get that ready. Little bit of last night, recapping. One of the longer practices that Sirianni's had. 2 hours, 7 minutes. Dallas Goedert last night, there's no question that they're trying to get him implemented as quick as they possibly can into this system and into the offense. Remember what I told you the other day? The key for the Eagles will not be getting the football to Devontae Smith and AJ. It's going to be getting the ball to Goedert, wide receiver 3, and the backs. Okay? So Goedert looked great last night. 15 pounds lost. Boy, if you can just get 17 games out of that guy, what kind of season would he put up? Kenny Gainwell has been a star all camp. We're all, or some of us aren't, Kenny Gainwell fans. But here's something that I want to always tell you guys. A guy's career is not predicated by how your take is to be received. And what I mean by that is, if you have a particular opinion of a guy, and in time he changes it, it's okay. Like my opinion of Jared Goff, from the first time I saw him holding ice on the sidelines of the Rams, being a healthy bench as the number 1 overall pick has dramatically changed. Why? His play. His play has changed that. So Gainwell is in a contract year. I'll tell you something. From what they're saying in camp and in the coaching staff, that they're going to find a spot for that guy if he continues to trend the way he's trending. I'd rather play Gainwell than Shipley. Nakobe Dean is just not happening. We've said this from day one. Look, we kind of bashed the kid early, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here, back into the program here and keep killing the kid. I've given you my opinion. Kobe Dean is not a good football player. Actually, the entire linebacking coach, the entire linebacker group is not good. Mekhi Becton, guy's a road grader. I think he's going to be your right guard. Before I get Philly Godfather in here, Philly Godfather's got to see this. Look at this. 6'6", Lane. 6'6", 6'7", Becton. 6'3", Jurgens. 6'6", Dickerson. 6'8", Mulata. Now, I don't know about you, but those big airplanes, with the with the propellers that go like this, those Huey things, right? You're going to need one of them guys to travel from city to city to pick these guys up. And I'm talking just the 5 guys. That's some big-ass meat. You get weight on a Toledo. They're going to need Toledo too to put them dudes on there, man. All right, guys. We are rolling towards one of the favorite times of the year for my next guest. And that is this man. Holy cow, the research, the intel. I can promise you this, folks. He does more research than anything that is done at the current White House right now when it comes to getting you ready for the upcoming football season. It is our good friend, the legendary Philly Godfather.
That's not saying much when we're talking about the White House right now, Dan, but I appreciate it. And just so you know, I was on the flight back from Super Bowl with Mulata, one of the biggest, strongest, nicest guys in the world. The guy's just massive. He's a big girth. Those guys are huge. And as long as, the center plays well, because as we've mentioned in the past, he touches the ball on every possession. And he's so important because if that center ain't playing right, you're going to have more turnovers, more delayed games, more penalties, big issues. So if they can secure that center position, that offensive line, definitely top 5 this season.
How about the 40+ thousand folks that felt like 50 grand last night at Lincoln Financial? The Eagles, they'll swear there was 170,000 in there and swear it was the Roman Coliseum when Marcus Aurelius was in there. So, you got to always remember to kind of temper that kind of stuff. But it kind of reminded me of one of those old college, spring games where you see 90,000 people at Bryant-Denny Stadium. That's one of the cool fan bases because NFL cities don't traditionally do that. And I got to say, that was pretty cool last night to get the fans to get a chance to see one of those practices. And as I told you last week, Godfather, you're probably going to see Jalen Hurts on the field more in that game, what you saw last night, than you will any exhibition game.
Yeah, and like I told you from the door, these Eagles fans bleed Eagles green. I know I did for years as a fan. I'm still a fan, but, if I'm betting against them, I'm rooting for my money. But when I'm not betting against them, I'm cheering them in, man. And this is going to be one of those special years. As long as the ball bounces their way, as long as injuries doesn't derail this team in key positions, it's a very dangerous team because the NFC East is really weak this season. And, you look at the NFC North, that's a tough division. NFC West got tough all of a sudden. Kyler Murray's back as well. He's healthy. Another year with their coach, St. Gannon. That team's going to be a lot better. And the Rams, who's going to cover those wide receivers on that Rams team? So the Eagles are playing in the easiest division in the NFC this year.
One of the concerns, though, and it reared its head last night, the defense was atrocious. They were just getting blown off the ball, and they didn't even really have their 2 guards in. Tyler Steen, whatever that means, but they didn't have Landon Dickerson in. He wasn't in last night, and they were blowing guys off the ball. The linebacking core was terrible. Kobe Dean got ruined by Kenny Gainwell, who's a second-tier running back at best in the league. The secondary got spun around a lot. Are you concerned still, again, because here we are, we put the pads on, it's the first week, and remember something about exhibition football and training camp. You don't really have a lot of days until the opener here. You got 34 days until the opener, and are you concerned a little bit about, especially guys like Bryce Huff, who there hasn't been a peep out of him, a little bit last night, but not a lot. Are you concerned about the defense?
Well, you have to be a little bit concerned because of how they played last season, but they can't be any worse than they were last year. And obviously you got a new defensive coordinator. It's going to take time to adapt to, his way of thinking, his style of playing. But come showtime, this team's going to be ready. And with that high-powered offense, with Saquon Barkley in the backfield, Jalen Hurts looking slimmer, faster, his arms looking stronger. Like I said maybe a month ago, he's got the eye of the tiger back. Now everyone's starting to notice it. It's a very dangerous offense. I think the defense catches up, and eventually they're going to be, if they can be mediocre, top 15, this is a very dangerous team.
Okay. So you're saying the right things, but I do want to throw a little wrench in here on you. So you got the best offense. You got a really great aircraft carrier. You got a really great plane. Thing flies great. But do you have the right captain in the seat? And I mean, doesn't that still concern you? The guy who drove the Exxon Valdez into a rock is still your head coach. I mean, right? I mean, this guy's the guy who is on like the horizon out in the middle of the Gulf. I mean, when the thing blew up, are you still concerned with that?
He's got all the pieces around him, and you saw what he did in 2022. He has a great record. As long as he doesn't step on, in his own path and trips over his own feet, I think they'll be fine. What concerns me a little bit is the defensive line. There's a correlation between teams with great pass rushes that go deep into playoffs and eventually in the Super Bowl. You got to get after the opposing team's quarterback. So if anything, that concerns me a little bit more. But if they can get that going, like they did a couple years ago when they had 70 sacks on the season, they're going to be okay.
Let's get into some fun stuff here. Eagles win the NFC East, minus 155. Good or bad take?
Is that high? I think so.
No, I'm asking you that number. Do you think minus 155?
Well, we took plus 125. We took plus 115. We took even money. I think you can still find like minus 120 out in the market. I would lay it. Definitely. Cowboys regress. We went on to 10.5 wins for the Cowboys. The Commanders are going to be a little bit better, but it's not their time yet. The Giants' offensive line, weak. They're in trouble. I like the Eagles to win the NFC East.
Yeah, they got Shirley Jones playing quarterback in New York, so I'm not sure that the Eagles are going to have. And for all you youngsters out there, it's okay. You don't know the reference, but a little bit dating myself. But Jesus criminy, I mean, this guy Dimes Jones or Danielle Jones. I mean, I don't get it, man. All right, Barkley 1K rushing minus 115.
He's going to be 1,000. Is that what the odds makers have up there? I haven't checked. 1,000 yards. Yeah, he's going to get it.
Take that bet?
As long as he doesn't get hurt. Yeah, I'd go over.
Hurts to pass for 3,500 plus yards, minus 115.
Yeah, I'd go over. He's going to have a big year.
A lot of people in Vegas have him at 3,600 yards.
Yeah, I think he's going to go over. They're going to have a big year.
Could that be just because they have so many people like Barkley now adds to the mix and they're thinking he's going to take yards away from not from AJ or Devontae, but they're going to take yards away from him in the rushing game.
Yeah. Well, Miles Sanders ran for 1,260 before we got rid of him. And then DeAndre Swift, the most he ever ran
almost 1,100
was 700 yards. He came to the Eagles. He ran for 1,100 yards. So, yeah, I think Saquon, I think the numbers are there. It's not like you're deducting from Hurts. You might be deducting his, his rushing yards, maybe his rushing TDs. But they get so many extra possessions on that fourth down with that push that could push him over the edge easily.
Quinyon Mitchell wins the Defensive Rookie of the Year award, plus 1,200.
I hope so. You can't bet the no, but he's coming from a smaller school. I know he's looking good, in practice. He's got a lot of speed, but he's got to play against the best of the best. I think there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for him. I hope I'm wrong, but I wouldn't bet him at 12-1 now. It's more like 25-1 I would need to get.
Hurts to win the Most Valuable Player award, plus 1,500.
Nah. He's going to be close, but I think that kid up in Detroit, I took him at 28-1 to win the MVP.
Jared Goff.
Yeah, 28-1. He had the second. Yeah, I think he had the best numbers in the NFL last season. And
they were really good, though.
Yeah, that Detroit Lions team, they got better on offense. They got better on defense. They got the two-headed monster running the ball. They played for Dan Campbell each and every week. They should have been in the Super Bowl. I mean, they should have been in the Super Bowl, and I think they're going to be tough to beat. They're going to be tough to beat.
Is Josh Allen a smart play for MVP?
too many good quarterbacks in the AFC, man. Too many good quarterbacks. You got Mahomes, Justin Herbert. He'll be healthy by maybe the first, second week of the season. He'll be fine. You got Aaron Rodgers coming back. You got Tua, who
Herbert. I mean, no, you got what's his name, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson, but his numbers. But a guy like who was I talking about now? Aaron Rodgers. You got Mahomes.
Burrow.
You got Burrow with that offense. They're playing a fourth place schedule this season, so their competition is going to be not as strong. There's so many Tua. Now, obviously, he's probably not the MVP of the league, but he can put up MVP type of numbers with the guys he's playing with. I mean, you saw the difference in his numbers before Tyreek Hill, and now he came to Miami. He's got an extra 3,000 passing yards in the same amount of games that he had without him, and an extra 26 more touchdown passes. So Tua could be the MVP. There's lots of guys in the AFC. Josh Allen's a monster. One of my favorite quarterbacks. I don't like their coach. It's a tough division. So I wouldn't bet Josh Allen.
Eagles win the Super Bowl plus 1,500.
It's a good bet. You're going to be able to hedge in the playoffs. I think they get to the championship game the way this team's constructed. And then you can always bet the other side. So, when you're betting futures, you're not always looking to win them outright. It's not about being right when you're betting these futures. Oh, I got it right and they won the Super Bowl. It's about, can you make money on that bet come playoff time? And with 15-1 odds, 18-1 odds, where they were at originally, you can make some money in the playoffs. You can make a couple bucks. So, yeah, I would make that bet.
I've got the Lions winning the Super Bowl over the Bengals.
That's it. We got the same two teams. We got the Bengals in the Super Bowl. The 8-ball. And Matt Maltebis, my younger son, my two kids, they're the lead handicappers. Now, they do a lot of the work because I've been working on my autobiography for the past 3 weeks. And they bet them. They took them at 13-1, the Lions, 12-1. They took the Bengals at 14-1. And they also nibbled on the Eagles at 18-1. So, yeah, I like it.
The Chargers, over 8.5 wins.
It's a tough division, man. And he's got to stay healthy. I mean, he can play with that, that foot thing he's got. What do they shoot him up before game time?
He's got that fasciitis stuff on his foot, and he said they're gonna have him ready for the opener. But
that lingers.
I have a little bit of that, and when you play with that, it feels like a broken foot a little.
Yeah. So and then it's a new system, new coach, some growing pains. I love Justin Herbert, man. I'll say over.
Bears 9.5 under.
Is that what it is? 9.5? I thought it was 8.5. It went up to 9.5.
Yeah, 9.5.
Wow. So the Packers are 9.5. The Bears are 9.5. I guess the Lions are what? 10.5. Wow, that's a tough division. Holy smokes!
The North is tough.
Yeah, that's a tough
God
division.
knows what's going to happen with the Vikings.
Yeah, the Vikings.
Vikings have quarterback is obviously the biggest issue up there with that team. Their defense is not bad. Their offensive line is one of the better groups. Okay. They got Jefferson. They got the other kid on the other side, Addison. They got some people up there.
I wouldn't want to bet a rookie QB winning 10 games.
I got you.
Yeah, I go on.
I think Sam Darnold's going to start up there.
Yeah, I like the Bears under 9.5.
How about this one here? The Commanders over 6.5.
I could see them getting 7 wins. Yeah, I think so.
Depending on the quarterback, right?
Yeah. I mean, Jaden looks like Daniels they're speaking highly of him. He's adapting quickly. So
Jets plus 190 to win the AFC East.
If you're getting 2-1 on your money, it's a coin flip. If you flip a coin 100 times and you're getting 2-1 on your money every time, it's positive expectation. I like that bet.
Do you have high expectations for the Jets this year and Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is the man. A lot of people hate him. People say he's a little off.
You know what, though? When I hear that, Godfather, I don't give a shit about when you like somebody like you hating him. Does he win? Does he put numbers up?
Yeah.
46. What was that one year he had? 48 touchdowns and 4 picks. I'm like this. I don't care if that guy is the worst human on the planet. But if you win me games and you put numbers like that up, that's my fantasy quarterback. Hey, do I want him to date my daughter? Probably not. But do I want it? Well, I don't know. Depends on how much money he has. We'll put up a lot of shit. If I might have to kill him. Depends. I don't know what I have to do here. Okay. But, I mean, don't get too personal with this stuff, right?
Yeah, no, you can't. And you got to remember this team won 7 games with a Mickey Mouse quarterback last season. And now you got Aaron Rodgers coming back. You got one of the best defenses in the NFL. He's got some weapons on offense. And you're getting 2-1 on your money. Yeah, I like that bet.
Are teams sleeping on the Chiefs and Mahomes?
No. I mean, how can you sleep on that team?
I can't see them winning 3 in a row.
Listen, it's hard to win 2 in a row. And everything fell their way when they played the Bills last year in the playoffs. The Bills were missing 7 starters on defense. They had guys from the Home Depot parking lot playing, in the defensive backfield. And then Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, who ran the ball down people's throats all year last year, decided to throw the ball, 37, 47? I forget what it was. Like, Lamar Jackson ain't going to beat you with his arm. So everything worked out from last year. No, I don't see him winning the Super Bowl 3 times in a row. But, man, that kid's special. Man. That kid's special.
You had to win one game, Brady or Mahomes?
Oh, Tom Brady. Easy. No, easy.
Hey, you know what, though? Jason Cole was on yesterday, and he goes, hey, but I do want a chance to amend that. If I want a chance to potentially amend that. Is Doug Peterson on the hot seat in Jacksonville?
Yeah, they're going to have a tough season, man. The Colts are going to be much better. The Texans, what are they, 16, 17-1 to win the Super Bowl? They're stacked. He by the end of the season, I think so. Thank God the Titans aren't any good. I bet them under 6.5 wins. They're in trouble, that team. That team's in serious trouble. If you look at their schedule, 7 of the 9 quarterbacks they play on the road this season are so much better than their quarterback. And at home, 6 out of the 8 are so much better than their quarterback. This is a team that's projected to have the worst offensive line and defensive line in their division. DeAndre Hopkins got hurt. Their edge rusher got banged up. The guy on the defensive line, their starter. First-year coach. That team's got some issues, man. That team's got some issues.
Jordan Love or C.J. Stroud?
Wow.
Who do you believe has a better season? And if you wanted to pick one to start your team, who would he be?
Oh, man. I like Stroud a little better, but I like Love too. But I take C.J. Stroud.
This carries his team further.
It's going to be close because that Packers team, forget about what you saw in the first half of the season. We talked about on the show last year. They were all banged up. They were missing 2-3 offensive linemen. When they played the Lions on Thursday night early in the season, they were missing 3 offensive linemen. The Lions just ran right through them. But then you saw what happened when that team got healthy in the second half of the season. They started to gel, and they could have beat the 49. They might have ended up in the Super Bowl last season if a couple things bounced their way. So a clearer indicator of how good that Packers team was from the second half of the season. Forget about that first half. That's close. That's a coin flip. Who gets further, whether it's the Texans or the Packers? But I like C.J. Stroud a little bit better.
Do you believe that Dak Prescott could carry the Eagles further to a Super Bowl win than Jalen Hurts?
No, he's a choke artist. Better regular season, maybe quarterback. I don't know. I mean, he beats up on bad teams. He's been extremely lucky to have one of the best.
Is this a polluted take because you lost a bag of money on him last year?
Listen, he made me so much money last year. We had the Cowboys to win the NFC East plus 200. We had them to make the playoffs minus 190. We had them to win over 9.5 games, over 11.5 games plus 250. The only wager I lost was a Super Bowl wager, but we were getting 16-1 on our money. He made me a ton of money last year, so I can't be mad at him about last season. But he's been a byproduct of some great offensive lines in Dallas, and this year they're projected to be like anywhere from 10th to 15th with their offensive line. So you're going to see his numbers drop off dramatically from last season.
Who has the worst season, the Patriots or the Titans?
That's a coin flip. I think the Patriots are odds-on favorite to have the worst season at like plus 350. The Titans are at 11-1. I took the Titans at 11-1. But, I mean, flip a coin. That's how close that is.
2 last ones for you. Are the Browns a play for you to make the playoffs this year?
And Chubb's not healthy.
Dude,
but
AFC North, though. Look at that thing.
yeah, it's
Best. Is that the best division in football? Bengals, Browns, Steelers, Ravens.
Yeah, I think so. And their defense is what? Top notch. And they were banged up last season. Who's better than them, especially at home? You couldn't do nothing on that team at home. On the road, their splits were a little bit different. But at home, that team's so dangerous. Deshaun Watson's supposed to be healthy. I don't know. I thought he was going to be healthy last season. But without Chubb in that tough division, what's their win total? 9.5?
Yes.
Yeah. It's going to be close.
Who is the favorite, in your opinion, to win the Rookie of the Year offensively? Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams? Now, Caleb Williams might be on a better team.
Yeah. But
Matt Eberflus has to be a coach that's on the hottest seat. I mean, they made a lot of moves this offseason here. They just gave Moore a new 3-year contract extension. They got Keenan Allen up there. They've been drafting to put players around them. They passed on Jalen Carter and took an OT out of Northwestern a year ago. I mean, they went on the other side of the football. Edwards is now with the best linebacking core, believe it or not, in the NFL. Can you believe that? The Eagles just let him walk out the building for nothing, and now the Bears have the best LB group. Is it because Williams is on a better team?
I'll take the guy that paints his nails. I hate to say it. I'll take Williams. I'll take the guy that paints his nails.
Believe me, that'll be a fashion statement in Chicago. If that dude throws for 35, you'll see all those guys up there eating those Chicago pretzels and that Chicago pizza with pink fingernails going. Can you imagine that? All them guys over on the Dan Ryan or down there in Rush Street. Those guys all down there on Rush Street, and they got their fingernails painted pink eating pizza. Like a true Chicagoan. All right. Give me some
like that thick, Dan. That's not even
pizza. I don't like Chicago style pizza either.
I mean, it's not bad, but it's just thick.
No, when you go to Chicago and you see their pizza and they've got that dough and you're like, dude, that's a fascist pizza. I told the guy there and he goes, why? I go, look at the crust. It's like high as my ankle. Yeah. I go, the only way to eat pizza is thin crust. The undercarriage is fantastic, kind of a little burnt. You got to have a little bit of the grease where you take it just a little bit, not too much where it's crazy. But look at this stuff. This looks like it's like a Yamish meal.
Yeah, it's too much. I mean, my favorite. There's 3 types of pizza in Philly. You got the Italian pizza, the hand tossed. You got the smaller Greek pan pizza that uses 3 different cheeses instead of.
I haven't had Greek pizza. How is it?
It's great. It's delicious. It's smaller, but they use different ingredients. And then you got the square pizza with the sauce on top, like Pica's, Santucci's out here in Philly, and that's different, but that's delicious as well. But when it gets that thick, it's just too much for me.
Yeah, too much dough. I don't like. You know what I'm saying? Give me some baseball love for tonight and tomorrow or the weekend. Give me a play.
I've been a couple things. I went under 9.5 in the Angels game. I went over 9 in the Orioles game, and I took the Oakland A's first half plus 125. First 5 innings.
You still hot on the Phillies?
Yeah, I mean, they got second best run differential in baseball. Suarez, he'll get healthy. Bryce Harper is in a massive slump. As soon as he turns that around. The Dodgers, their pitching is suspect. They picked up Flaherty, but how much is he going to move the needle? The Padres, surprisingly,
I know they're coming on.
They're coming on strong. They got great pitching. Number 1, I think, in batting efficiency, offensive efficiency. So they're hitting the ball, and you can get like 8-9 to 1 on them to win the NL West. So you might look to bet that. Yeah, I still like that. The Mets are playing good baseball, but they don't have the pitching. The Braves are banged up. The Brewers are pretty solid. Nobody's talking about them in the NL side. The Yankees are just hitting the ball out the park like crazy right now. Them and the Orioles. So and the Astros are coming on strong. So it's gonna be fun watching down the stretch.
Tell the folks where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Philly Godfather. You can stop by the PhillyGodfather.com, and every Friday on the greatest show on the planet, Dan Sileo Show, right here, brother.
And I'll tell you this, man. He's ramping up right now for the upcoming season, and it's going to be one of the best NFL seasons. Last year was a sensational season. I think this year is going to be an even better one. Godfather, we'll catch you next week. Thank you, brother. Make sure you also catch him out on Twitter.
I got one more tip.
Things.
One more tip. if you're going to bet the Olympics, bet on the dudes that are beating up the girls. I mean, they can't lose, right? Can't lose, right? I mean, it's crazy. It's insanity. It doesn't make any sense. It boggles the mind. But if you're going to watch it, at least make some money with that. You know, and make some money off.
Take the dude with the couillons in the chicks fight. Hey, the guy with the cannoli. Take him. Take the cannoli. Leave the gun. Godfather, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Have a great weekend, guys.
You got it. I appreciate that very much. Awesome. Hey, Twiz, by the way, Twiz says that Big Sills hasn't seen his ankles. I'll leave you on this one, Twiz. No, but I've seen your mom's. Do me a favor. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Hit the like button. Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman. One more time. Howie Roseman. I want to show you one thing. September 6th. 10 tackles, a sack, 3 pressures, 1 fumble. Annihilating the Gators. And your shitbag school. August 31st. The Canes are going to Shitsville or Shitsville, Gainesville. We're coming for you. Oh, we're coming for you, Howie. Some may say this is why I have a little bit of an ass with Roseman. Because he's a scumbag. I mean, because he's a Gator. So I don't know. There could be some truth, justice in the Big Sil's way on that. Could be a little bit of angst towards those shitbags up there in Gangstaville. Okay? I'm hearing Howie benching 450 pounds. Hey, Suplex, if Howie was ever going to try to choke me, I told you this the other day, he has to do this. He'd need a step stool or a Tokyo phone book to stand on. Howie Roseman would need a Tokyo phone book to look me in the eye. Who are you kidding? Okay? He need a Tokyo phone book. Oh, man, I can't wait to go up there and rip that thing a new one. Nothing like good old ass gator meat. Hey, man, greatest looking chicks, too, on the planet. They're at the, what do they call that thing? The swamp? Swamp. Ben Hill Griffith. Sexy, too. Some of those chicks got blood on their face. Hot blondes. Oh, my God, it's really great to go up there and beat the shit out of them and steal their chicks. It's great. Nothing like it. It's like conquering heroes. It is. It's like the Roman legion walking in and just kicking the shit out of somebody. It is. I love that, man. 85,000. Gators own UM? I don't think so. We own the overall record. And, well, it's true. I am 2-1 against them, but they do have a win. Twiz, Gators own UM? I don't think so. You might want to do a little, as my friend Prince would say, a little research. A little research. So, little Howie, just to give you a little hand here, homie. August 31st, I'm coming for you. I want that message sent to him. I know everyone over at NovaCare watches this. You tell them, we're coming for you. We're going to kick the shit out of your school. Oh, I might even have to tell Jeff Stoutland. Make sure you put a note on his door. Still says by 10. By 10. Still's rocking a Gators jersey. Imagine that. Yeah. You would have had to have killed me, took me to a town square, and I had been dead for 100 years for you to desecrate me like that. Anything Gator is not, there's nothing Gator in my house. Like ever. That ain't happening. Even with the drama surrounding the Cowboys, they will still be competing for a top seed in the NFC East. No way. No way. Roseman and Associates going to be raising another Lombardi. Well, best accounting firm in Philly. Yeah. Oh, my God. There you go. Hey, Twiz, that's the best accounting firm in Philadelphia right there, baby. Hey, it's been a great week, though, man. Still, I know, Suplex. I got to try to stay not, out of the gutter too much. So, Miami leads the series 29-27. How you doing? Of course we do. What, do you think them stupid-ass people up at FSU have a lead on us too? No. No. We own Florida. How you doing? We haven't been good in 20 years. How's that? We're so good, you still haven't caught up. Oh, man. Yeah, I know, Suplex. I know. Emmett Smith is a Gator. And he's also from Escambia. Have a great weekend, Sil. See you Monday, brother. You pancake-eating dickhead. That's really great stuff. Guys, it was a great week for you, man. Accumulated with a great offensive output last night, plus the fans showing up 40,000 plus last night at Lincoln Financial. Just absolutely sensational. Guys, you were fantastic. Next week is going to be game week. So we're getting ready for the Ravens. Have yourself a great weekend. God bless each and every single one of you. We thank all of you that come to the network and come to our show each and every single day. Thank you again. 2 to 6 Monday. Joe, And Xander, thank you very much. We appreciate it. We'll see you Monday, and we'll see you on the flip side.